So today, our guests know a thing or two about what we're all about on Fuck the Plan, the podcast. We're all about living a life you love, whatever that might look like and however long it might take you to get there. Between business projects, music projects, podcasts, streaming, I don't know how these two keep up with it, but today, we're also going to make them be game show hosts. I'm Aaron.
I'm Cass.
And this is Fuck the Plan. Today's guest, they recently invited me to be a guest on their podcast, Connery Curious, where they dive into the massive filmography of the late, great Sir Sean Connery, one movie at a time. It was a fantastic time, and so we had to have them. Please join us and welcome Dylan Titus and Mario Lima. Gentlemen?
Hey!
Mario Lima.
Dylan Titus.
How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. I think you and I should appear on the Fuck the Plan podcast. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Hey!
Let's go.
Hey, now that's what I call a crossover episode.
I felt left out.
This will be our little moment for the trailer that I put together, all of us doing fake laughs.
Beautiful.
Yes.
I like the freeze frame that Dylan's got going on, too. It's pretty good. For a minute there, you had me. I thought it was actually frozen because that does happen occasionally, as streaming does tend to do.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I
also froze too late. I meant to freeze. But I didn't. I stopped too late, and then I got to commit to it. Anyway.
It's kind of the same thing as like pausing a movie or something at the wrong time, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, somebody's making some stupid, ridiculous face.
Exactly.
Glad you guys are doing good today on this Tuesday evening. We're usually sort of morning or early afternoon podcast
Hey, we're definitely
reporters.
morning.
Yeah, we certainly are, and we'll leave it at that on our apolitical podcast. But yes.
Oh, no, I was talking about everyone that died.
Oh, tell me about it.
Well, my dad died a few years ago. I'm still mourning.
Yeah, my dad died in 2017.
Hey, Dead Dad's Club.
Yeah, look at that. And,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, he's dead, but I had to find some way to spin it.
Well, yeah,
I'm already off to a bad start. This is usually how we start on Connery Curious anyway, with me just horribly derailing the murder on the Orient Express.
That's totally fine. If I don't have some level of comic relief when I talk about things like that, I think I might just give up one day, So you got to have a little bit of laughs here or there.
You got to laugh. Yeah.
It was a subtle joke to our most recent episode, which was don't give up. So that's kind of funny. But
I just thought of Aaron.
Yes. So
tell us more.
What our show actually is about, rather than people dying or murder on the Orient Express or really various forms of murder, which Dylan came here to talk about this evening. What our show is really about is following your passions and living a life you love. And I know that you guys both love Sean Connery. So I want to open it up by hearing a little bit about how that passion turned into Connery Curious. Because I got to say, it's one of my favorite fucking podcasts now. I listen to it all the time. I've been going back through the episodes, like starting with movies that I have seen, and then I'm going to go on to ones that I haven't. So tell me a little bit about it.
Well, thank you so much, man. We're really glad that you listen and enjoy, and we're happy to have you for the 2 episodes that you've been on, which that's awesome.
A lot of fun.
You're already in the what is the
The
5-timer club
Like
for
the
SNL?
upper echelon? Oh,
Yeah.
The Connery Curious Hall of Fame.
Yeah, there we go.
I
Yeah.
want a bronzed bust at the proving ground of myself and Sean Murphy, sitting side by side.
Yeah,
And
Sean's also been on twice, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have been on twice. Chris Hansen's been on twice. Chris Hunt has been on twice. So anyway.
Oh, that's the British Bond addict. Guy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And for people outside of New England, he's not referring to Dateline Chris Hansen, by the way.
That is true, yes.
Oh, no, we were. It is Dateline Chris Hansen.
Oh, yeah.
I was
that's
going to
what
think maybe one day.
Friend of the
Who
show.
knows?
Friend
Depending
of
on
the
how
show.
you live your life.
He really loves the Anderson tapes.
Wait, are you talking about the Chris Hansen from Dateline, or is this the third guy named Dateline, middle name Chris, last name Hansen?
Actually, his middle name is Dateline.
Oh, okay.
And you know
so
what's
it's Chris
crazy is-
Dateline Hansen.
Yeah,
So a
exactly.
fourth one.
Chris Dateline.
Sounds like a
Hansen.
wrestler. It's Chris Dateline Anderson.
Wouldn't
Chris
that be
Anderson.
That'd be a great wrestling episode for like him, instead of him showing up and like, oh, well, you got cookies, you got condoms, like confronting the guy in the house. Like, you just got to confront him in a wrestling ring. And like the guy shows up, the
His
pedophile
music
shows
drops
up
and he
to meet
comes
the kid.
out.
Yeah.
And there's
he
like
walks into the
fireworks.
house, and all of a sudden he's in a wrestling ring. and they're announcing Chris Dateline Hansen, and he just like elbow drops him. You know,
Now, let me tell you something, brother. What were your plans with this young child here, dude? Why don't you have a seat over there?
We just mentioned SNL. I feel like we should submit that to Lorne Michaels right there. That's it. That's gold.
oh yeah, absolutely. But I
Dateline
want
Hansen.
credit. I want credit for that.
And you know what's
Of course.
crazy is when we had him on the episode, we start each episode by sitting down and we go, Mario Lima, Dylan Titus, and we're sitting down. And then it cuts over to Chris Hansen. He goes, why don't you have a seat over there? And then somehow it cuts back to us, and we're not sitting. We're standing somehow. And he's like, I guess we should have a seat. Anyway.
That's
What was the
fantastic.
question?
Yeah. How we started with Connery Curious.
Yeah, I mean, I know you guys loved Bond, and that was kind of your intro to Sean Connery. You know, how did that turn into, like, from just loving Sean Connery, James Bond, into, like, kind of falling in love with all of his films and his whole filmography?
Mario, you want to answer?
I could start. Yeah, I mean, it did kind of start with a joke. It was, I forgot the context of it, but I think I just said to Dylan, "Oh, how funny would it be if we started a podcast that we just talked about Sean Connery movies?" And Dylan just was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And I was like, "Haha, yeah, that'd be funny." And then here we are, 20 plus episodes later, like we've
20
covered
plus,
almost
you mean?
every.
60
How
plus.
many? Is it 60 plus?
Yeah,
Oh my
hold
God.
on. I just put
You guys have done a lot. I think you only
It's-
have, like, what, 8 or 9 left?
I think so.
So
Yeah.
what are you gonna do when you run out of movies?
So we have like ideas. We're like, I already have like 2 other podcasts I do. So this is like,
63.
63. I'm 63
Oh my
right now.
God! Is this weekly? Is this bi-weekly? What's the
It
deal?
used to
It
be
used to be
bi-weekly.
weekly.
It was week. Yeah, it started weekly. Then it was bi-weekly. Then we're like, let's try one a month. And now it's like, it's a lot. It's a lot going on. But yeah, we're just kind
Wow.
of like, let's see what happens. And yeah, we talked about that actually. We're like, because the whole, again, like Aaron mentioned, it was kind of sprouted from the love of James Bond, and we love we always talk about Bond movies in college and stuff like that, and I always loved Sean Connery, and yeah, we're like, what if we start covering every single actor? We might do it, but like we'll see. But we've also fallen in love with other actors doing this project. Like, man, Michael Caine. I want to see more Michael Caine
Oh, yeah.
movies. I
Ian
want to
Bannon.
I'm
see.
with
I love
you on
Michael
that
Caine.
one.
Yeah, Harrison Ford. I mean, we love Harrison Ford here, but like, his movies are always a blast to see, and his TV show. He's on TV now. There's a show called Shrinking on Apple. You guys got to see it. If you guys haven't seen it, that's a great show. That I've never seen Harrison Ford so hilarious. It's so much fun. But yeah, it was just like one of those weird things to kind of get. It's kind of niche. No one's really talking about that man outside of maybe that one Indiana Jones movie and every single Bond movie.
Yeah.
So it's
and Entrapment.
it's quite
Every-
the
Seemed
education.
to be
Every
pretty
single
prominent.
Celebrity Jeopardy on SNL. We keep talking. This is the SNL episode.
No,
Oh,
of
geez.
course.
I can't because I'm not actually a Sean Connery person at all, which you will find out later in this episode in greater detail.
How
So
about
my
becoming
mind,
a
every
Sean
time I
Connery
hear-
person?
Yes. Every time you're gonna convert me, but every time I hear his name, I just think of yes, Trebek.
Yes.
Nah.
And
The penis mightier.
yeah, exactly. Let it snow.
Let's now.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was fantastic. That was a really good.
You know,
Connery
it's
impression.
ape tit.
Mhm.
It's a petit déjeuner.
That's not what your mother said.
Mario, we
that's
should do an episode just reviewing all of those sketches as if they were a
We
film or
should.
something.
You certainly should.
Yeah, like it's certainly a part of like the Connery history. Like,
Ethos,
like
Connery
that's,
zeitgeist.
yeah, that's something. Like,
Clearly.
I wonder, like, I don't know if anyone's ever, like, when he was alive, if anyone asked him about that impression. Some people are flattered. Some people hate when they get, like, mimicked and whatnot. I wonder what he would have thought
Yeah.
of it. Like, I mean, obviously, it's very, very, what's the word? A caricature of Sean
Yeah.
Connery, obviously, but like, yeah, those are always so hilarious. And but yeah, it's like it's just it's funny to see that and then see what he's gone through with his movie career for
Yeah.
sure. Like, there's stuff I had no idea he did that were like have become some of my favorite movies. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's so crazy that it was like so like I always think about how many decades his film career spanned, and he was in things that like
From
like,
1957
from the
to
50s.
2012.
Can you imagine that?
Wow.
Like a lot of people would like from 1957 didn't even make it to 2012. This
Right.
man was acting the whole time.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's
Yeah.
crazy to me. That's crazy. And like
And-
that man had a lifelong passion for acting. And like, you know, one of you guys mentioned it as you were talking about it. It's like one day you just decided, all right, well, fuck it, let's do it, you know? And we kind of talked about in the last episode that we recorded, like so many great ideas and great things, like so many things that are like around you in the room right now were started by people who just went, all right, fuck it, let's do it. You know, let's start a paint company. Let's start a cardboard box making company. And now, you know, it's this huge thing. And like people oftentimes like convince themselves out of doing things, but it's the time when you're like, yeah, whatever, fuck it, let's do it, that actually like works out for you, which I always find hilarious.
Well,
I mean,
I'm sorry. Go
it's
ahead.
the name of the podcast.
Right.
It is. Fuck the plan. Let's just do it.
Well, when I had the freedom of mind at that point to say, just fuck it, let's do it. Because as I mentioned earlier, my dad had, I just bit my tongue.
Oh,
That's
That's no
him. He's
good.
like, you're talking about me too much. My dad had just died.
yeah.
And I had undergone a lot of trauma, both from that and from outside factors. Like I had lost my apartment through unjust processes. I had lost
Right.
my job through unjust processes, and it was just a real time of trauma. So this was a means of escapism, and you know when we're talking about fucking James Bond films, and
Yeah.
you know what? Let's watch some more movies, sure. And
Yeah.
and
No, I
when
like- I love
Connery
that.
died in 2020, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Halloween
Halloween
2020.
2020. Yeah, it was before my dad had passed, and at that point I had watched a few Connery films, so it was like, okay, I could get back into that. This could be a good way of coping with this by
Yeah.
watching some films, and then through that, we have discovered some of our favorite films, and then also some weird coincidences with reality, like on
Yeah.
the anniversary of my dad's death, we watched a film about the same subject.
Right.
And
that's so crazy to me.
and it's
how,
completely random.
how that
to-
works.
Yeah. So,
And like it's such a it's funny, these things that that on the surface it's like, all right, well, this is just a funny thing, let's talk about Connery movies, but it's like it's such a like a healing process for you, and it's like so personal, and like that's the thing that like people don't understand. Like I don't go into work at my day job feeling like healed and cathartic and everything from like answering the phone 70 times a day to tell people, you know, basically read them what they're looking at right in front of their faces. But like, you know, when you do something that you really care about and that really comes from like inside, that has so much deeper of like a connection to what you're doing. And that's why I think those types of projects tend to succeed when people really throw themselves into it, because it's like it's from the heart, and there really is like a legitimate difference there. And people talk, you know, foo-foo about it and say, oh, that's, you know, it doesn't really matter, just do it. And you can totally tell the difference between when somebody really cares about something and it's got some sort of like personal connection than when it doesn't. And I love seeing stuff like that. I think it's just so cool to see like, all right, this is art. This is somebody actually expressing themselves, whether it's a silly podcast or a painting, you know?
I think acting especially. I mean, the root of good acting is being in touch with your emotions enough to know how to portray them.
Yeah.
And so somebody like Connery who was doing that for, 2.5 times my lifespan or whatever it was. I'm no good at math. That's got to come from the heart. There's no way you can have an acting career that long, a good acting career that long, if it's not just coming right from the heart, if you're not personally tied into it.
you got to be playing by heart.
I'm gonna guess that that's a Connery joke. I don't
That's
get.
a
It's a film reference.
Yeah.
You're gonna get a lot of those probably.
Sorry.
Oh, I
Oh,
bet.
great.
I hope so. I really hope we do.
But no,
And it's
you're correct. It's you have to be able to address and draw on your emotions. Hey, to go back to SNL, did anyone see the sketch from the most recent one where it's two kids calling their dads, and it's Kenan Thompson and Bill Burr as the dads,
No.
and like
What a combo.
neither of them can talk about their emotions to their sons. It's like, Dad, how are you? He's like, the Eagles are doing real good this season.
The Eagles are doing pretty good this season,
know,
for what it's worth.
the Eagles haven't been playing as well as they should. I think it might be the Eagles last season, as like he realized it's a metaphor for them, and like he calls Bill Burr and he's like, "How you doing, Dad?" He's like, "Oh, good. How's your car? How's your car?" It's like, I really hope I think your car and my car should go to go take a trip to Ireland and see where our car's family grew up.
Well,
I'm gonna have to look that up because that sounds
It's a good
fucking
skit.
hilarious. That's great, and it's funny because like I feel like that is really how a lot of like men from our generation, like late 20s, early 30s, connected with our dads.
That's
and,
how
like,
my dad was. He was always asking me how my
Yeah.
car was,
and like my
but
dad
not asking me how my soul was.
I feel like I have kind of a unique experience because my dad did, I think, try and be in touch with like his emotional side, but I think it was tough because of the environment that they grew up in. Like I think he realized later in life like the key to it all, but I don't think understood like how to translate that into something. So like my dad and I, it's funny you mentioned the Eagles. We did bond over the Eagles and like going to a game every year and like every time we caught up, no matter how long it was, like talking about the Eagles and how the Eagles are doing. And there's the timer for my enchiladas, which this is definitely staying in. But yeah, like the point is that like that's how so many of us guys from that era connected with her, and ladies too, I'm sure. Like there's a lot of women I know who are football fans because of their dads, and like that's one of those ways that it's like they found a way to connect, and like you guys connect over Connery, and Cass and I connect over other things, and like finding that common ground of connection is like so important. But I think what we're getting better at in this day and age is like translating that into like words and talking through those things, and that, and having therapists, of course. Yeah, where our generation's much better
talking
at
through
that.
things, just paying to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys continue the conversation. I'm going to leave you with a question to tell Cass, what is your favorite Connery movie and why, each of you, while I go take these enchiladas out of the oven.
Well, I'm
So-
gonna
All right,
quote.
well, now I'm thinking about enchiladas, but all right.
I'm gonna quote a movie that doesn't have Sean Connery. It's Friday the 13th, Part 5. And it's, oh damn those enchiladas! Anyway, and then the character goes to the bathroom in an outhouse, and he's scared, so his girlfriend is outside the outhouse and is comforting him by going, "Ooh baby, ooh baby, ooh baby, ooh baby."
All right, I have to say, that may be the most realistic, true to life thing in any horror movie. I ate enchiladas, and oh my God, now I need an outhouse. I don't care if there's a murder on the loose. I need this outhouse.
And for your fiance to sing, "Ooh baby, ooh baby."
Yeah. That's how you know it's real. If your fiance will stand out there while you unleash the enchiladas
And that's
and sing to you.
those are the only lyrics to the song too. So the question was,
That's all you need to say.
What was our favorite Connery film?
Oh yeah, we did not do any of that, Aaron.
That's okay, as long as you talked about it. But now I do want to know, what is each of your favorite Connery films and why?
Mario?
It's so tough because like I think before I started this, I would have told you it was a Bond movie. But I think right now it's a toss up between a few. But I think I'll say Murder on the Orient Express probably because it's such a. Me and Dylan talk about it all the time. Number one, we bring it up all the time,
That's mine too.
and so
You
yeah,
never
I
know
guess
what
it's
the wheel's going to spin next.
Exactly.
That's, from the
I-
things
I-
of Murder on the Orient Express.
I hope it always spins Murder on the Orient Express because it's such a cozy movie. If you guys have seen the remake with
I have.
Kenneth Branagh.
Kenneth Branagh, Daisy Ridley's in a bunch of people. It's a great film still, but I saw that one first before seeing the Connery version. I knew the Connery version existed, but I just never saw it. And then I went to go see it. I'm like, oh my God, this is tremendous. This is awesome. And I feel like you could watch it during Christmas. It's cozy for Christmas. You can watch it anytime. I can watch it right now and I'd be happy with it. So I think Orient Express is up there.
That's
for
sure. I
sure.
assume Connery is Poirot, right? Like there's no
No,
other characters.
Connery-
No, I
is,
wish. I
no.
wish he was.
Connery
Oh.
is Colonel Arbuthnot.
Ah.
And they make
Yeah.
sure.
I'll
He's
have to
put-
check that out.
Yeah, in the
Yep,
remake,
Colonel
he's
Arbuthnot.
played. Yeah, I forget who plays him in the remake. I try to get the comparisons of because Johnny Depp is in that movie in a new one.
Yeah, that's who it was. That's
Who
what I was
else?
remembering. The
He-
big
he's
name.
the spoilers. He's the murder victim.
What?
And I forget who else, but yeah, that's Judi Dench is in it. Like, oh my god, the remake is
Dame,
great.
use her title.
Dame Judi Dench.
The late great Dame Judi Dench.
She was in
Oh.
Cats. I can't respect her entirely anymore.
Oh,
Yeah,
come
you
on,
lose a
Cats.
couple
Well,
of points
hey,
of respect
I
for
mean-
that one.
Now, stuff like that, as we've learned from these movies, you never know what the wheel's going to spin next, but you never know how fun these sets might be. That
That's
could have
true.
been really fun for her.
I
True,
imagine.
because Ian McKellen was also in it,
Yeah,
and I'm
they
like, they
could have
have
been having a
2
blast.
nights. 2 nights of the Queen's Court are in this movie drinking milk out of a closet. Like,
I feel like if I was an actor or an actress and I was invited to be on that movie, and I'm like, who else is going to be there? And it's like
Taylor
all of
Swift
the
and
people that were
shit.
in Cats. Idris Elba, wasn't he in it? Like,
I know so many amazing
everybody.
people
I would take
were
the
in that
role-
movie.
I would take it just to go and meet those people. Be
Yeah.
like, yeah,
But
sure.
they
I'll
would
be
have
an
already
extra.
had to. But they would have already had to agree. That's the thing. Like, whose family was being held hostage that set that waterfall in motion for people to be like, "Oh, Judi Dench. Okay, I'm in." Like,
Maybe they just got one. Maybe they just got the Dame, and then they were like, well, Dame Judi Dench is going to be in it. And everyone's like, oh, shit, if she's going to be in it, I guess I better say yes.
yeah, it had to have been one of them to kick that off. I digress. I think my rage at the Cats movie, or even the stage show existing, just surpasses all rational thought.
It's all good.
You know what it
It's
makes me think
understandable.
of is the Kroll Show sketch where she's like, Obama said no. And like she's going through the list of all the people. I don't know if you've seen the Kroll Show. There's a hilarious sketch called Publicity, and it's Nick Kroll and I forget her name, the actress. She's the voice of I don't know. I'm forgetting her name. I'm blanking on it. Let me look it up. But yeah, there's this sketch called Publicity where Nick Kroll plays a woman and Jenny Slate also plays the other woman.
Oh,
And
love
they're,
her.
They're both named Liz, and they run a PR firm called Publicity, and it's got Liz in the name, and the tagline is "It's based off our names." And so there's this one where they like invite a bunch of people, and they're like, Barack Obama said no. Like they're so surprised that he said no to come
my
to some stupid like pet benefit party that they're throwing. So it's just hilarious.
That Lola big mouth voice that you just pulled out was spot on.
I think I'm pretty good at that one because he uses that voice a lot in Kroll Show, and you can tell where a lot of the inspiration for the voices from Big Mouth came from Kroll Show, which is hilarious.
He uses it in everything. I love Nick Kroll, but the man
That's
can
true.
do 2 accents in 2 different pitches, and he'll use them.
Too
But he
much
does it so
tuna.
well that I don't
Yeah,
care.
I was gonna say in his defense, they're fucking hilarious. So why
I
would you do
know.
anything else?
And I'm like, I don't like if I watch History of the World Part 2, I'm like his Russian accent somehow still sounds like Lola. No, like Coach Steve. And I'm like, it's so funny I can't care.
That's great. That's great. Well, I think we also need to hear Dylan's favorite Connery movie.
Oh
and
no,
why.
I agree.
Jesus.
Murder on the Orient
Oh.
Express. That is
Oh,
my
you
favorite.
agree?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
it is my favorite. It's flawless. It's directed by Sidney Lumet, who did 5 films with Connery, and 4 of them are phenomenal, but all of them are great.
Are they all watchable?
Yes, all of them are watchable. I
Okay.
would say that the last one that they did together is not as good. It's like a 7 out of 10 maybe for me. I'd have to look back on my on our list. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's Sidney Lumet and Sean Connery. Their collaboration is phenomenal. Jeffrey Unsworth is the cinematographer who also shot a few other films of Connery's. And good Lord, it's just so gorgeous. Such a gorgeous film. It's literally like somebody put gauze over the lens, that kind of beautiful haziness.
Very
It's
cool.
so cozy. Every actor in it is 10 out of 10. Every scene is so beautifully scripted and shot and acted, and good God, it's just a perfect film. The music, oh my God, the music is so good. It's
That is
such a
awesome.
yeah, 10 out of 10.
I know what I'm watching this weekend.
Perfect film. Oh,
And
your screen went
So
out.
did you guys like the remake?
I haven't seen the remake.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I liked it. Yeah, that was the first one I saw before seeing the original. I love those because that's kind of like a series now because we had was it Death on the Nile?
Oh yeah.
And
Oh, I
what
didn't
was the
realize that was
latest
the same.
one?
I didn't realize that was part of the same
Haunting
series.
in
Yeah,
Venice.
so what's his
Agatha
Haunting
Christie.
of Venice. Yeah,
It's
like
all
those.
Agatha Christie.
I
Yeah,
see.
like those are super fun. And what yeah, I can't think of his name. I know him as
Kenneth Branagh.
from Harry Potter. He was
Daniel Radcliffe.
no,
Lockhart.
what was it? He was Lockhart. Yeah, Lockhart
Oh,
in Chamber
Gilderoy
of
Lockhart.
Secrets.
yes,
Gilderoy Lockhart.
voice of
Kenneth-
Miguel
Kenneth
from Road to
Branagh.
El Dorado.
Yeah,
What's his
yeah,
name?
I thought it was
Branagh.
Kenneth Branagh, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
That's
Branagh.
what- yeah.
Yep.
Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he's brilliant in those movies. Those are all really fun. So yeah, I think those are great. But obviously, like you gotta pay respect to the original, right? Well, that is the original, right, Dylan? I think
Yep.
we saw a third version that's somewhere.
There's one with David Suchet, I believe, who
Yeah, I
played
think that was
Poirot in a number of films.
like a made-for-TV one, I
yeah,
think,
in
or
the
something.
90s for BBC, I think.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah,
I haven't seen either of those, but I know for a fact that I wouldn't like them as much as the Connery one, just
How can you
because
top
of
Connery?
all of the ingredients being so top tier. Sidney Lumet knew how to put together a crew. So
That's fantastic.
if I recommend no Connery film to you today but one, let it be Murder on the Orient Express.
yeah, honestly, yeah, honestly, to everybody listening
Flawless.
and all that, yeah,
Do your
absolutely.
homework. Go watch the
You
movie.
may
I'm
actually-
gonna watch it
you-
this weekend.
I was gonna say you may actually have gotten me on that one.
Yeah,
you go.
1974. Yeah,
Love it. Love it.
flawless.
So,
Cozy
you guys-
film, cozy up with a blanket.
You guys obviously have an encyclopedic knowledge of Sean Connery and his films and all of those things, which is phenomenal. And I feel like I say this once an episode, but we're all creative types here. All of us are into different, projects and things. And so, in line with, pursuing a life that lines up more with your passions and things that you really value and what matters. I know that you guys have other things that you're working on too. And so I kind of want to hear a little bit, what matters most to you as far as like doing in your life. So to give an example, what matters most to me is not necessarily having a 9 to 5. I want to create good experiences for people. I want to, be able to make income without having to answer to someone else. I'd like to have some sort of self-sufficient thing. And I'd also like to travel with my wife and do more to see the world in different cultures. So to me, working on making a life that I'm focused on what matters means finding a way to, have a business be my main income and not have to, work 8 hours a day for that. So that way I can focus on the things that matter. So like in that general thing, I know, Dylan, you've got the Proving Ground going on. Mario, I'm not as familiar with what you're working on, but, if you guys want to tell me a little bit about like what really matters to you in your life and like how are you working towards that? Because I know you both are in various ways.
Want to go first, Titus?
Oh, okay. I mean, I just offered to you.
I went
as well.
first last time.
Okay,
so
you
go
got it.
first this time.
That's fair.
So what matters most to you? So you brought up the Proving Ground. This is the studio that I'm in right now. I can shoot over a couple of video clips if you want to edit them into the episode.
Ooh, that'd be fantastic. And the Proving Ground is?
The Proving Ground is a studio, a recording studio that I share with my good friend and fellow live soundsman and producer Eric Gary, who you may know from having performed shows in the Providence music scene.
That is right.
He's done your sound at the Parlor, I guarantee it.
I know that he has for sure, several times.
Same here.
Indeed.
So
we
obviously, like you are working towards, having the studio be full time. Is that it? You're trying to kind of transition to that?
Yeah. So it's this cozy space in the Pawtucket Armory. It's in a castle, so it's cool. Anyway,
Very cool.
I'm sorry, I don't know how to promote myself. Yes.
That's quite
so
all right.
I've been lucky enough that our good friend Sean Murphy, who was on the last Connery Curious with you, was able to help me get a really good job, and that job has allowed me to do most of my work from this studio.
Oh, that's cool.
And you were talking about how a 9 to 5 is not what's important to you. And same, I don't like a 9 to 5. I'm ready to work. I'm gonna work. I'm done working now. I'm gonna stop working until I'm ready to work again, or maybe I feel like going until the thing is done. I like being in control of my work schedule, and that allows me to. Thankfully, that company allows me to do that.
That's awesome.
So I'm still full time there.
I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I was going to ask, like, because this is a common question that I get, is like, well, how do you support yourself while you're working on that? And it's like, the reality is that, unless you're Cass and you have 55 part-time jobs, like most of us have some kind of a day job, and we spend our other time working towards this. And like, you have to have something that you really love about it to pursue it, because it's not easy and it takes a lot of commitment and time. So, like, Dylan, what do you really love about running a recording studio or producing records, or just, the kind of stuff that you would want to be doing full time? What is it that, like, kind of sparks that passion in you? What do you love about it? Is it the people? Is it the process? Is it both?
Okay, so you gave me a lot of questions there. So,
It is.
so,
like,
I'm sorry.
shall I
So
simplify
just to
it?
wrap up my last part,
Yeah.
I have the freedom in the work to be able to stop and go, you know what, I'm done with my job stuff for now, and now I'm going to turn to I'm just going to mix for 4 or 5 hours or whatnot until I get ear fatigue, and then I'm going to go take a walk or go to the gym or something and come back and keep working. And that's one of the things that I'm passionate about, especially being in the studio, is having the freedom to just like let my ADHD just go wild and just be, you know what, I'm going to I'm going to get everything done. Everything will get done. It just when I want to.
Yeah.
You know,
You got to go where the hoodoo trance takes you.
As long as
Solid
nobody's
reference.
What's that a reference to?
Mighty
The Mighty
Boosh.
Boosh.
Yeah.
I have not
But
seen
I
it.
get what you mean. Like, obviously we're all, or well, I'm not sure about Mario, but, at least 3 of us on the show right now have ADHD for sure. And like bouncing back and forth between things, like sometimes it's frustrating, but sometimes it's kind of exactly what you need, being able to work a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit on this. And like, it keeps you from getting too fatigued on one thing or the other and just like burning out on it.
As long as you have the resolve to actually finish the things, which is in itself, like, that is a whole thing you got to learn and train yourself to do. Because
Yeah.
it's so easy to have like 20 balls in motion and then you just like get everything halfway done. And then at the end of the day, you're like, well, shit, what did I do?
Yeah.
So to have the motivation, the drive, and the knowledge to like finish up on those things, because Dylan, I know you do. You
thank
are
you.
one of those people who actually like sticks to what they're doing. Like, that's impressive when you have ADHD. That's
Very
something
much
you work
so.
toward.
Well, thank you. I
It
appreciate
shows that you care,
Mhm.
because like I literally cannot focus on something that I don't care about. It just, my brain just doesn't work that way, It's like you have to care to a certain extent, whether it's caring enough about your day job to do a good job at it, to stay employed, or like genuinely caring about it. So I know I threw like 80 million things. That's my meds wearing off
you're
of my
good.
brain
Well,
getting ahead of me.
I'll answer your last part though.
What do you love about what you do, about that process?
I'll give one specific example. I had a client in that brought me a song. It was just vocals and piano. And it's a beautiful song. And we put it to a click track and they recorded it and it was great. We cobbled together the piano takes and the vocal takes and boom, there it is. Now, what do you hear in this? Like what else is this? Is it just vocals and piano? What else? It doesn't have to be anything else. And he's like, I hear a ghost guitar. And as soon as he said that, I knew exactly what he wanted. And I plugged my guitar into the computer and dialed in the exact setting I knew he was going to want. And he's like, yes, that is exactly it. And I'm like, that felt really good.
That
But
spark,
then,
that moment.
exactly. But the one that really solidified it was after that. I'm like, okay, you've got the ghost guitar. What else do you hear? And he said, I don't know. What do you hear? And I said, I hear drums in this song. This is a song that could have drums. He's like, I don't know. I'm not sure. I didn't think of it that way. And I'm like, oh, hold on. And I hit record. Started playing the beat. And 3 measures in, I saw his eyes light up. Like every good thing in the world had just happened to the song. And that is the feeling that
That's
made
the
me
high.
want to keep doing it. Like not in the sense of not in the selfish sense of like, oh, look what I can do, but in the sense of like, oh, look what I can do. I can make somebody happy with a skill that I have that oftentimes, because of mental illness, you just write off.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I can sit down and play a beat. Sure, can anybody? And like, oh,
No.
but
No,
yeah,
no,
exactly.
'cause
And then
Cass
you realize,
cannot.
like, yeah, he
No.
he didn't think to have a beat there because he
Yeah.
couldn't play a beat. So
I love that you're taking this thing that somebody brought to you in a rough form, and you're using all of what you've absorbed into you over the years from playing music, writing music, recording music, and you're saying like, I see your potential and I know that this can be great and this is how it could be great. And then you're just connecting the dots, which I think is so fucking cool that you can bring that out of something that was just, probably basic piano and voice. And now it's a song. Now it's a feeling. It's an emotion that it evokes from someone, which is so incredibly cool.
I also
Hell
want to
yeah.
take back that last statement because I don't know. He probably can keep a beat. He was in he was in high school band, and that influenced the production of the song.
Oh, yeah.
So he probably can keep a beat. I didn't mean to phrase it as if he couldn't. Forgive me.
Right.
I just mean in that sense of like, you never know what somebody is capable of and how that may limit their ability to perceive what something can be in the end. Like, oh, I
Mhm.
have this, and it's just doot, 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 doot. But somebody else can hear like, oh yeah, you just wrote a symphony.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
That's
the
awesome.
same thing happened to a direct shout out with Nicole's band, How's About Charlie, with
Love that.
their song "The Tower." They were playing that in my living room and just playing it, and I heard the chords. And I'm like, you guys know you're writing a heavy metal tune? And I had to reiterate, like, it's not just because I love Metallica so much that I'm saying that, but you guys are really writing a heavy metal tune. Like, look at the chord progression. That's heavy metal. So
Context, very, very pretty, folksy, acoustic, kind of melodic driven band.
yes,
For those who don't understand why that's funny,
yes,
that don't know us.
Thank you. I appreciate the clarity.
Here for context.
Indeed. So Mario, talk about what makes you happy.
What makes me happy? Shit. Well, I guess I should probably set up myself too to kind of understand where I'm coming from. So obviously, yeah, it's content creation in general. Besides Connery Curious, I also I run another podcast called Wrestling's Real, where we cover wrestling It's basically Connery Curious for wrestling fans. So we do a lot of that. And my main hub is Friggin' Nerds Media, which is I stream on Twitch, on YouTube, and all that. We kind of I cover, superhero movies, Star Wars, nerd content. So yeah, that obviously makes me very happy. That was a thing that I started many years ago and kind of kicked off in a bigger way in 2020 during the pandemic with a group of people. It was myself, my now wife, and two friends of ours. But fast forward to now, they did end up kind of separating, not in a negative way. They just had to do their own thing. So I kind of stuck around doing it by myself now, which can be a lot of work and can be very stressful. But, Friggin' Nerds has really gained a massive community. And it became more about community than anything, where it's just like a safe place for nerds to go and, connect with stuff they like. It's like there's so much hate in the world, as you guys know, but so much hate through fandoms. Like, my God, I love Star Wars. I have
Oh
I
my
have
God, yeah.
I have Carrie Fisher on my arm, but I also hate Star Wars because the fans make it terrible sometimes because like you're gonna fight like just because I enjoy Force Awakens and Last Jedi doesn't mean that you have to shit on me for that because you hate them. You know what I mean?
Well, look at the poor actor who plays Jar Jar Binks. Like, it's not
Oh
his
my
fault.
God, yeah.
It's not his fault the movie was garbage. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
So
I have
that's
I have a suggestion for Disney Plus. Make
What's
some like short film. It doesn't have to be a whole series. Please don't let it be a series. Just make it like a short, half-hour thing where it's Jar Jar in the streets, homeless, because that's his fate for what he did. Like, I don't mean this like I don't mean this cruelly. Genuinely, I mean this like as a redemption story, because that would be the reality. Like, he helped this guy rise to power. He's a useful idiot, so he would just be kicked to the curb afterwards.
Oh, you would be, yeah.
Wasn't he like on the Senate or something at some point?
Yes, and
Or-
he's the one that
yeah,
gives
like-
Palpatine emergency powers, which lets him. He is the Supreme Court of today. Anyway, we won't get into it.
Oh my God, I know. Apolitical, but it's hard.
Dello Feligits. And so Jar Jar is homeless and being treated like shit, and maybe we get to see a drunk Gungan, but he gets
a drunken, if you will.
a drunk Gan.
Yeah.
And finally, one passerby, maybe like a junk trader, just some man that passes by, shows him kindness and offers to take him in and help him clean him up and get him back on his feet. So it is literally just a feel-good story about somebody helping somebody get back on their feet and recover from trauma. The twist is this man is played by Jake Lloyd.
Okay.
Give him an opportunity to act one more time if he wants to, and have a role that allows him to be absolved of what... No, because his performance as Anakin is phenomenal. He's so good. He really needs to be absolved of everything that was... maybe absolved is the wrong word, but like cleansed of everything that was put upon him.
Yeah,
Like,
because it wasn't their faults, man.
No,
It was,
and it caused him so much
the
mental
content.
illness. Like,
and the woman who played Rose in the newer ones, that poor
Yeah.
thing got bullied off of social media. It's not her fault that the character was useless.
and she could be in it too, because it could feasibly be in the same timeline.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know how long Gungans live.
Too long.
I believe they do live too long. Sorry, I had to step away for a minute here.
No,
we
you're
got a
good.
lot going on in our house this evening. We've got my cat causing things. My wife is taking a class upstairs, so I have to keep an eye on dinner and such. But yeah, just lots of stuff going on. But I was listening and I really enjoyed the Star Wars conversation, Ed, because that is
Good.
one of my faves for sure. But yeah,
Now we have all these people with ADHD, and so we are really finding it hard to stay on any topic for more than 2 minutes.
which is totally fine because this is a bonus episode and it's
That's
actually going to be
true.
released to everybody because it's our first one. So it doesn't really matter if we go back and forth. It's fun.
That's why I didn't wear my uniform today. I was like, oh, it's a
Ah,
bonus
yes.
episode.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I guess before we get into like the game show type of section, which I definitely want to do, the last thing that I had written down to ask you guys is like, what would it mean to you to be able to do these things full time and have your life be focused solely on like what really matters to you? So if you were able to do, Friggin' Nerds and Wrestling's Real, do the Proving Ground and run the studio full time without having to have a day job, like how would that
And my
impact you?
OnlyFans? Oh, what a dream.
Well, your OnlyFans is top notch, so I hope you never
Oh,
stop
thank you.
that one. Yeah.
Put the link in the description.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's actually just a trick to get
Fans.
people to watch Connery Curious. It's just episodes of Connery Curious, but behind a paywall. Check out
It's
how
just
Mario and I
naked.
get down.
We
and
refilmed the entire episode, word for word, naked.
I love that. Cut it together. But yeah, I mean, like, how awesome would it be? How would it impact you? What would it mean to be able to do these things full time without having to balance a day job?
Well, what I was getting to before the Jar Jar Binks fan film
Sorry.
was,
Yeah.
I was going to tell this quick story because that Aaron did mention earlier about just the sort of the concept of your show really is the fuck the plan, and instead of having that typical 9 to 5 happening. So quick rewind back to January of 2023, I got married. And
Congrats.
thank you so
Congrats.
much. And that was, as I'm sure some of you guys know, it's a pivotal moment in your life. Ended up being a very pivotal moment in my life because at the same time, back at home, I'm working at a catering company, 9 to 5. Actually, I wish it was 9 to 5. It was 5 a.m. to like 3 p.m. You know what I mean? It was,
Yeesh.
it was exhausting. There for 10 plus years, very, very loyal employee and all that. There was talks of me getting a raise and stuff because I'm like, hey, boss, getting married. We really want to get our lives together and all that. I'm doing friggin' nerds on the side, trying to like get that going off the ground, but at the same time, trying to get that bread to try to, get our lives together. So we get married. We got married in Florida. Beautiful venue, yada yada. With my boss, I'm gonna be gone for 2 weeks because we got
went
married.
To yada yada, Florida.
Yada yada, Florida.
Yada yada, Florida. Is that right
Population
next to Tampa?
12,000.
Sorry.
So yeah, so fast forward, we got done. Blah blah. I come home. My boss texts me saying, not verbatim, but like, hey, so, I got talked to on Monday, Mario. I may have to lay you off. But let's talk on Monday. And I said, fuck that, baby. We're talking right now. So I called him. And I said, what's the fucking deal? What are you talking about? You laying me off? He's like, oh, so when you were gone, we were short on people. So we had to let you go. And I had to give the job to somebody else. I'm like, I'm not going to say his name publicly. I'm not going to be a jerk. But like, what's the deal? I've been with you for 10 plus years. I've been here forever. Like, you've gone through so many different employees. I've always been here. I've always done the work. I've always beat myself up. Literally, I have burn marks and stuff from different shit I've done on the job. And he's just like, yeah, just like, oh, like, just we'll call it for 2 weeks. Say you got like 2 weeks vacation. You know what I mean? He'll be back in 2 weeks. I'll call you in 2 weeks. 3 months passed by. I didn't get no call. So that was kind of a wake up call for me. And I'm like, I've been burnt by people a lot in the past. These people who own these companies, they, these like businesses, they think they can like just, fuck people's lives. They understand that people have lives.
Yeah.
So I was like going hard with the content creation. I said, I had that sort of Blues Brothers moment where Belushi's in the church and the light heads, like the end, I'm going to do this full time. I said, fuck it, fuck the plan. I'm going to do it. I'll be transparent. I'll make a lot of money doing this. I'm in a lucky position because during COVID, me and my wife lost our apartment. We had like shit going on. So we're staying in my folks' place. We've been in my folks' place here for a couple of years now. So that's very lucky. My parents are very kind to be like, don't have to pay rent. Just build your nest egg. My wife has 2 jobs. She's a teacher and she bartends. And so we talked about this. She's like, do you want to do this? Do you want to pursue content creation? Like, making YouTube videos, streaming, all this stuff, busting your ass every day to get the attention. Because it's kind of like, I was in the music business too. I was in the music scene here in Providence too. I'm sure I played with Sean Murphy many times, stuff like that, friend. And it's the same kind of business where it's like, you're trying to get eyes on your product, trying to get your voice out there. It's tough. A lot of other people are doing it. But I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to try to do this. So I kind of am doing this for full time right now. It's a lot of work. I know some people think it's easy. I mean, yeah, once you make it, it's easy. There's people out there.
Charity streams.
Yeah, I do charity streams and stuff. We had 24 hours like last week, on stream for 24 hours, raising money for Hasbro's Children's Hospital. Where it was like $2,000 altogether. Extra Life run like $3 million, I think.
That's very
so really proud of it. So yeah, it's I'm at that point where I'm still pushing. We're still building the community. It's the funds will get there, but at the same time, it's not about the funds. It's about the community that I've built with people. And I tell people all the time, so many people want to get into content creation and they're afraid to. And I said, just do it. I mean, obviously, if you're, you need to be, financially stable. If you're not, I'm lucky. I'm in a place where I'm staying with my folks, but at the same time, don't hesitate. Like a good friend of mine gave me the best advice in the world, saying, just make stuff. Just make stuff. And then you keep making stuff, someone's going to see it. And, I think someone's going to see that and appreciate it, and it can go somewhere.
Yeah.
So
and I think that's a really great point too, because like a lot of people go into it focusing on like, how do I make the money? But what the real answer to that is by making really good content. So you should be focused more on that. And like, that's kind of so like, obviously I still have a day job, but like I found myself in a tough spot in my previous job before I moved over to this company. And I hemmed and hawed, and I was like, oh, I'm going to try and do this, try and do that. I was starting all these different businesses. Like I was selling shirts on Etsy. I was buying things at discounts at TJ Maxx and reselling it on Amazon for a profit, and all these little things. And I kept thinking like, oh, do I do something with the content? Do I do something ADHD related? I don't know. And I was like unsure. And then at the beginning of the year in 2023, I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to do it. Like I'm going to get up early before I go to my day job, get up at 5 a.m. and just spend like 2 hours working for myself and putting content out. And if nothing happens, whatever, at least I tried it. And I gave myself some sort of, answer to whether or not it would work. And, I started in January. I think I had like 600 people following me. And by the end of the March, I had 60,000 people following me. And
Wow.
it does happen overnight, but it's not the first night. You know what I mean? Like it does happen overnight, but only after months or years or however long of putting the work in. And then it suddenly happens. So people think it's like some overnight success. And like,
They just don't tell you which night.
Yeah, it kind of is. Like it does happen very quickly, but
It's
at
not the
same
first
time,
night.
It's just like it does happen very quickly, but you don't see the behind the scenes work that goes into it, which
Yeah,
is like
and
all of it.
You're just gonna keep grinding for how again. Like I do a lot of Twitch stuff. How long was I streaming for one person? If I was lucky, maybe watching. Not even talking in the chat. You know what I mean? But you keep doing it, and don't discourage yourself just because it's like you're not getting results right away. It's like you have to keep doing it. Like me and Dylan talk about Connery Curious all the time, and it's like one of those lucky things where it's like you can post that anytime. And it's timeless. People will go back to it. We've gotten people now. We've been doing this for over a year, 2 years. I don't know how long, over 2 years. And now people are starting to be like, holy shit, we really are starting to enjoy this podcast. They think wrestling's real. You can go back anytime. Like SummerSlam 1997, sure, we can talk about it anytime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you just got to keep on pushing and don't be discouraged because, yeah, sure, it's like, you just got to keep moving. If you're passionate about it, you got to keep pushing forward with it because if you just give up, then you're going to be hitting yourself like, what if I kept going? Like I think about that with music all the time. I still got the Marshall stack here from when I used to tour with my old band. You know what I mean? And I'm always like, what if I just kept pushing? What if I just kept playing? Maybe I could have been playing some venues here with some real great artists, but I gave up. And then this was the thing. I was like, when I was talking to my wife about friggin' nerds, am I going to go forward with this? I'm like, yeah, I'm not giving up anymore. I'm 33 years old. Like, there's not much you can give up on anymore at that point, because then you're just going to be like, in a hole at 40 years old and like working at McDonald's or working at a boring 9 to 5, and your life has no purpose anymore. And that's not a way to live. If you're passionate about something, just fucking do it. Just do it. That's it.
And that was like the whole topic, or a big part of the topic of the last episode we recorded, Don't Give Up, where we kind of talked about like if you just show up and start, that's doing more than like 75% of people. And if you can manage to stick it out, that's doing more than 95% of people. And it's the people who stick it out are the ones who succeed. It's not always the smartest or the best or the people who had the greatest ideas. It's the people who stuck around long enough to turn the idea into something lasting that works and stick with it through all of the different failures and permutations and iterations to say like, this is important to me and I'm going to keep going. And I used the example, Cass, if you want to tell about how you started to play drums and hated it, but you kept with music.
Well, the listeners of this podcast will have now heard this twice by this point, because that episode came out today, didn't it?
That episode came out last Tuesday on the 5th.
Did I touch a nerve with my keep a beat comment?
No, I don't have a chip on my shoulder. I know I'm a shit drummer.
I didn't mean that.
Well, no, I mean, she meant it, though. She is.
It was, oh, no, I am not good. It was something we talked about in the podcast episode we're referring to, that, I love music. So I thought, well, we have a drum kit in the garage. I might as well, learn that. I can do that. I have a lot of aggression. Let's do it. And then I realized, wow, I suck. And it's not even like I suck and I want to get better. It's like I suck and this just ain't for me. But it didn't mean that music wasn't for me. It meant specifically drums are not for me. And that's not a bad giving up. That's moving on from what would be a waste of time to something else music related that I could be quite good at and enjoy doing.
And are quite good at. I think objectively we could all say that Cass, you're one of the most phenomenal singers and just songwriters that I know personally.
Thank you.
And
Excellent.
Dylan and Mario and I were talking about how our friend Sean Murphy, who we were just on Connery Curious with, is a phenomenal songwriter because he sits around and writes songs all the time. And no matter what he's doing, like the dude's got like 84 kids at this point. He's
Oh,
got
God.
he's got a house and a wife and like all of these responsibilities. And he continues to write music because he loves writing music. And one of these days, I swear, he's going to put something on YouTube and it is going to blow up. He's going to be the next, like, I don't know, a relevant cultural reference nowadays. I'm getting old, but like, one of these days, one of those songs is just going to hit the right way because he continues writing them and writing them very, very well, I must say. But yeah, it's like you never know what could be right around the corner. Like if you give up,
You never know
You
what the
won't
wheel's going
know.
to spin next.
yeah, you never
Speaking of
know.
which, getting back onto Connery, I think we had a trivia game lined up or something, didn't we?
Oh,
did.
we've been
We
so
did.
excited about this.
Before that, my wife is going to be getting her break from her class in just a couple minutes, and I'm going to go help her out with getting some dinner and stuff together. So if you guys want to continue talking, feel free. I just need to step away for like 5-10 minutes, and I'll be back.
Sounds good.
Alrighty.
Connor P.
Nice to Connor P.
I just saw that we were at like an hour already, and I was like, oh, fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, if we need to like cut the trivia in half, we can. We did 20 questions just in case.
I
and,
think
like,
we can
just,
zoom through them pretty quick.
Yeah, they're all multiple choice.
We'll give it
Yeah,
a minute of response time and or 30 seconds.
I'm
to
excited
guess
about
or
this
something.
because you're going to have somebody who knows absolutely nothing. And then Aaron knows a moderate amount. But like, Dylan, you were over there like reciting the credits from one of them.
Well, when it's that good, you notice who's doing. Especially when you've worked in how by the way, how did Young Frankenstein go?
That was amazing, which was an accomplishment because our music director was non-existent and awful. And the guy who played Frederick, he and I think we got him fired, which is a beautiful thing, and I'm not upset about that.
Oh.
But thankfully, all of the leads were, I mean, I know I was one of them, Titus, but like we're fucking superb, and we were able to pull it all off, even though we had absolutely no official musical instruction whatsoever.
Damn.
It was a hot mess, but you make really close friends in casts like that because you're like, we have had to rely only on each other.
Right. Mario, I saw
So
you went and saw that play too.
Is that the same one? Were you in that one?
Wait, you saw it at Assembly Theater?
Was that in, where was that?
Burrillville.
Yeah.
I was Elizabeth.
No shit.
I had a wig on, so I was like pretty unrecognizable.
You were tremendous. Oh my
I got
God.
the Tooth song.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Of course you did.
I gotta tell my wife that. That's so
fucking
funny.
Rhode Island, man.
That is so, yeah, because our friend Lauren Trad was in it. She played.
Lauren is awesome.
Isn't she great? Oh
She's
my.
so and her outfits. Oh my God. Mwah.
That's so I gotta tell my wife that's so funny. Oh my
Oh,
God.
I love Lauren too.
Yeah, she's an
I'm
old
glad
friend.
I could play
of ours.
matchmaker.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, when you started saying it, I was like, it can't be the same one I went to go see. No way. That's so funny.
What day did you go? Do you remember?
It was a few weeks ago. It was
It was the weekend of the 18th and then the weekend after.
yeah, it was in the evening. Because the next day, I think it was the next day you guys had like a matinee or something.
Okay, so it was probably the
Odd.
Friday night, maybe, or the.
Oh, I want to break, right? Oh, you call my wife real
Yeah,
quick.
we're on a break.
I'm gonna tell her to come in here real quick.
I'm glad Aaron is
Because we
still
were talking
recording
about
this.
you the whole time. We're like, she's so cool. She was so funny.
Thank you.
Well, now
Oh,
I'm
that
sad
show,
I
'cause-
didn't see it.
Hey, can you come in here for a second?
There was supposed to be a video taken of it. Whether or not we
2
ever
seconds.
get
We're on break. I'm gonna blow your mind in a second. This is hilarious.
Okay.
Okay, I love you. Bye. That's
She
so
sounds
funny.
Yeah,
so
Those
enthusiastic.
wigs make you like unrecognizable.
Oh my god, that's
Yeah, I
so
saw
funny.
pictures of you as the blonde, and I'm like, wow. It
Yep.
took me a second to realize it was you. If you need
Yep.
people to film that stuff in the future, let Eric and I know. We can do stuff
Ooh.
like that.
I may
And
take you up on that.
We'll mic all you guys
Yeah, I was
up,
saying,
or
the
we'll
only
mic the
complaint we
stage
had was
properly.
there was a lot of feedback in one of the monitors, and I was like, could have fixed that.
Yeah.
Get your mind
Yeah,
blown
reach out
around.
to us. We
Put
do
your
that
headphones
stuff.
on.
Why?
That'd be awesome. Because every time they were like, "Oh, we're gonna give you a video," then it's like
This
6 months later, and we're like, "Where's the video?" And then we
how
just
small
hear
Rhode
about
Island.
it.
Cass, my full-time job is a video editor. So
So this is Cass,
me
one
know.
of the hosts of Fuck the Plan.
Hi.
Tell them
Hi,
what you
Lee.
just, who you just played.
So I just played Elizabeth in Young Frankenstein over in Burrowville.
That was Elizabeth, the tit song.
Bruh.
We're like freaking out.
Yeah.
No, were we freaked out about how funny she was?
Yeah.
I didn't love you.
She looks wicked familiar. And I was like, why does she look so familiar? Yeah.
Yeah, I want to show you a clip of them. Yeah.
No,
So-
no.
Yeah, is that funny?
You're so great, by the way.
Thank
Like,
you.
We're just
Like,
It was a-
literally, our whole family was just so
Fun.
impressed by like how the whole thing.
yeah,
was
because she
just
knows
so fucking
Lauren and
excellent.
everything. So it's like
Yeah.
So I was like, that was because they were just talking about it. I'm like, it can't be the same Young Frankenstein we went to go see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
We were
a
talking about
fun
that.
show because every single character can be as absolutely as ridiculous as you can possibly make it. And if you're like, is this too much? You're like, no, it's probably not enough. I'll just make it bigger. Like,
It was
Oh, it was-
amazing.
Yeah,
Honestly,
even
my
I'm so
stepdad
sad I
was still
didn't see
talking
this
about
now.
the show.
John.
Like,
was
if
talking
we
about
ever get the
John
video, I'll
doesn't
send
like
it.
musicals. My stepdad does not like musicals, and he was talking about the show for weeks afterward.
For tap dancing and putting on the Ritz. The fact that the monster who's like 6'5" was doing that.
it.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
he was huge. I was like,
And like
yeah.
the woman who played Frau Blucher was
Yeah.
one, hysterical.
sorry.
But two, she was dancing behind that white partition and putting on the Ritz. She was his shadow.
Oh my God.
So she threw a bunch
Ooh.
of coats on to make herself look bigger and then had to just remember, because she can't see him through that. She had to remember exactly what he did and do it exactly in sync.
Oh
And
my
I'm like,
God.
I couldn't do that in flat shoes watching somebody. She's in
Wow.
heels and back there. And I got the best seat
That
in the
funny?
house for that because I was in
That's
the
so
audience
wild.
for
Yeah.
that scene. And I'm like, wow, this
Yeah.
woman, why is this woman not on Broadway? What the hell is she doing?
Honestly, all of you, I was like, how are all of these people not like,
Igor,
Wait, who was behind the
Seriously.
partition?
the woman playing Frau Blucher.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Holy
Oh,
shit.
Yeah, everyone
so
was good.
good.
Yeah,
The whole
the
show
guy
was
who
so
played
good.
Frankenstein was tremendous. Like, he was
Oh,
really good.
he's one of my favorite
Because
people.
she had never
I'll be back
seen the
in a
movie,
minute.
I've never
so
seen the movie.
we ran back
Oh,
home.
it's
I
so
showed her the
good.
movie.
I've
It's
never seen
so
the movie.
good.
Yeah,
This
it's
was my
really
first,
seen
like,
it.
my first experience with Young Frankenstein at all. And
I mean, the musical's
Terry Garr
very
just
different.
passed too,
but,
so you have a
like,
reason to
yeah.
watch it.
No, she
Yeah, we
passed
did.
away
Just
like a day after we closed.
That's
Damn.
right. Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So you've got another reason to go throw it on.
Yeah.
well, we
Exactly.
definitely, we watched it that night.
Yeah, the night we
literally
came
went
home, I was
home
like,
and
yeah,
we
we
watched
should.
it immediately because I was like, how have I not seen
I was
this
like, the
movie?
musical's very different, obviously.
The
from,
musical
like,
is so much dirtier
Yeah. Oh, it's so. that's
oh,
so
it's
it's
fun.
so
just-
good though.
endless sex jokes. And then we had the jacked executioner who decided, I want you to know no one made him do that.
It's-
He said,
That is
I think
true
I have a
enough, yeah.
costume and brought that in. And no one was going to tell him not to do that. We were like,
I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna use the bathroom.
you
but
gotta
oh my
go.
God, our Igor, every time he like bit the head off that scarf, I could not keep it together.
Oh,
I had
that
to.
was so funny.
He got me so good a couple of times. There were a couple of times I was in actual tears laughing. Like,
Yeah, we're with that.
full on tears. And I
Oh,
think
yeah.
Iger's like, there are a couple of things with Iger that I was like just dying over. And there was one line too. What was the line that I looked at you and I was like, oh my God. And grandma reached behind me. My grandmother came to see this with us, by the way. She comes up behind me and she's like, she said something to me about it. And it was like one of the lines about, I don't know if it was about men or about, she's like, I bet you wish your kids would do that or something like that. I was like, no, grandma. No, I don't. Oh no, what was it?
Well, you love the "Don't Touch Me" song.
The Don't Touch Me.
That's-
Oh,
yeah.
this what? Dude, I was like,
It
yeah, but
fits
that's
it.
not what this song.
Oh my God, that song is, I'm so happy I got that song because that is the,
Oh, it was so good. It
the
was-
director's like 8-year-old daughter, because her husband is in the show. She used to come to certain rehearsals And she would walk around just going, tits, tits, tits. And I'm like, the director knew what she was doing when she brought her here. I cannot be held responsible for this.
Oh my God. When the guy was like, I don't know, who was the guy at the end, during the raffle, and he's like, oh, we only bring them to family friendly events.
Oh, he
or
was like the
something. It was-
director, I think, of the whole.
Oh my
shit.
God,
Oh,
dude.
it's so
That boy
funny.
could talk.
I could
It's
tell.
funny. They'd be like, all right, guys, get into places for Act 2. And I'm like, are they doing the raffle speech? Yep. All right, 20 minutes till places, guys. We're fine.
Oh,
Aaron, they saw me in Young Frankenstein.
Oh, really?
It was
Yeah, I had,
phenomenal.
I had
Without
the,
even
I had-
knowing?
yeah, I had,
Without
well,
no, yeah.
They were. She was talking to Dylan.
And I
about
was
that.
like, she looks familiar. Why does she look familiar? Did I go to school with her? Like, how do I know this person? No, we just watched like 2 hours of this person. Let's.
That's
And then-
And
fantastic.
that's amazing because that wig, like, I barely recognize myself. Never mind.
That's
like,
hilarious.
Yeah, I would have never guessed. I was like, holy crap! I just heard you guys talking. Like, there's no way it's the same young Frankenstein. That's so funny.
That's
Oh my God, I gotta
Hilarious.
tell Lauren.
And we were just talking, Cass and I, in the other recent episode that we recorded about how it feels to get noticed for things like that and like getting recognized. And so now it's hilarious because it's happened literally on our podcast. So
Yeah,
The
I had
last-
the- I had
You
the
got to
burger
keep
in.
this section in.
The,
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
going
yeah.
to. I'm going to have to. For those who are now
no.
missing a chunk of the podcast, I stepped away to go put a plate of dinner together for my wife because she's taking an online class upstairs, and I come back to us realizing that we're having a meta moment of what Cass and I were just talking about on the episode
It's massive.
with Vinny about being recognized for things that you're in, in a band or in a play or something like that. So this is actually really extraordinarily fucking cool to have that happen right here on Fuck the Plan, the ADHD podcast.
Look at that.
Yeah,
I
keep all
used
that
to
in.
the last couple of shows because normally like you go out into the audience and you say hi to the people you know are there for you, and then random strangers will come up to you and be like, "You did fantastic," and of course we love that. But because I would take my wig off and the costume, and then I have this haircut and I'm all tatted up and I've got my Clark Kent glasses on, no one recognized me. So at the last like 3 shows, so the last weekend, I was like, no, I'm just gonna come out in my final costume so people can tell me I was good. And
Tell me I'm good.
You
Tell me I
guys-
did a good job. Tell me I'm
Exactly.
good.
and these two know what my final costume was, which was a tearaway dress where the tits are just They're just out
blasted.
to-
They're just
Yeah,
blasted.
Yeah,
Bras
they're
just
just-
out. Like,
they're just
whoa.
out to play.
And
So
that-
I was
my wife Marissa and I, whenever we see somebody like that in public, we're always like, she's blasting tits right now. She's just blasting them. They're blasting everywhere.
yep.
Yes.
Oh,
This
so
is-
that's
this is
really funny.
fantastic.
Well, there
We're gonna
it
have to
is.
put a picture in of your final costume too, so everybody can
Oh
see
yeah,
you blasting
I've got
titties
plenty of good photos of me and the
I think you
monster.
have video of it. So
somewhere.
Oh, I've definitely.
You
I've
were
had
filming a lot of
weekends for
Lauren's
days of the whole thing because
shots
the
and
whole thing
stuff.
was just fantastic. Not the whole thing, but
Um,
my favorite, Lauren
Yeah.
parts. But
well, we're talking about. Truthfully, I think you guys need to have her on for something because when I told her I was going to go on an ADHD podcast, she was so mad because she's like, I have ADHD.
Yeah.
Like
This is excellent. You're in. Let's
it's
go.
like I quit my 9 to 5 to get a better job that I enjoyed, right? So
Yeah.
like this,
So did I.
this is I'm saying you like this is tailor made for you.
Oh, yeah.
I
100%.
need your email address. Mario put it in the chat. We'll set it up. We got sessions coming up in January when we get back together.
Alicia
Let's do it.
Dumas.
We
Yeah.
also
My
need to
birthday's in
start
January.
having female guests because
know,
it's
we
been
have-
a sausage fest
It
every
has
single
Oh,
year.
Yeah.
here,
She's a
I'm
good
gonna do-
which is
podcast
not my
guest. We've had her on
intention.
Connery Curious.
Alicia
Oh, this
Dumas.
is
Yeah,
excellent.
you guys
I'm a
are ahead of
professional
us.
podcast guest.
Yeah. We finally have a woman guest coming on in January, my friend Kristen, who's working on her modeling career and kind of breaking into that. So now it'll be excellent to have another female guest because it has been a bit of a sausage fest so far as guests on the show, present company included.
And I mean, my fiance
I
is
got
going to
you
be
booked,
one of
kid.
those guests at some point, and you know what? He's included as well. It's just a fact.
he is absolutely.
This
So
is
yeah,
the podcast
definitely.
where we live in.
Well, there you go.
This
I
is
got you. I
excellent.
got you booked, kid.
Thank you.
Sorry, I woke you
Perfect.
up. I just thought you want to meet a
I
local
wasn't.
celebrity.
I didn't wake up. I was already. I was TikToking.
Oh,
It's
okay.
fine.
Oh, you're TikToking. Another disease.
It was great to meet you, though.
Me as well.
Absolutely.
Bye.
We'll talk again on the podcast.
There we go.
Absolutely.
We
Well, that's
will.
good. That's gonna be a good episode. Thank you,
Right.
babe.
So yeah, that was an excellent little sidebar there to kind of find that out all right here on the show. That was really,
Yep.
really crazy.
Yeah, please leave
So,
all
I
of
mean, I
that in.
totally lost where I was at. I think this whole thing started from talking to Mario about like what it would be like to have, like what your passion is to be full time. And I don't think we really got to give Dylan that much time to talk about it because we talked about what it means to you to be able to pull that out of someone as far as like producing music and a record, but more on a personal level, like how much of an impact on your life would it have, and what would it really mean to be able to just run the studio full time, just
God,
do
I
your
would love
podcast
it
full
so
time?
much. I would love it so much. It's I pay roughly for the studio what I pay for my cost of living.
Hmm.
Yeah, but it's not bad, all things considered. It's not a
Yeah.
bad cost. Um,
And it
so
makes you money,
it
technically, well,
does. So
theoretically,
it's
right?
it's about breaking even at this point.
That's
Um,
good.
and if I can get to a point where I can do this as my full-time job, I mean, I'm almost there. I only have to go into my office when I need to. Well, this is my office. I only have to go into my full-time job's office one day a week, or when I need something. Um, so I'm almost there.
Very cool.
And once I I'm able to take on more clientele, or maybe one client has something that starts to take off, and I can work more exclusively with one client or another.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Wouldn't
to-
it?
To
Because like you think about a lot of times, I think about how much, not even just time, but how much mental energy I'm wasting, like having to do. I guess it's not a total waste because it supports me and it pays my mortgage, but like how much mental energy I use just to like do my day job and my regular job, and like I'm at a point in my like working career where it's not extraordinarily challenging for me, but I often think about like I'm sitting here for 8 hours focused on this when I could be theoretically putting that time into my passion project and moving that along. So I know what you mean, where it's like you're close, but you got to get to that point where it can actually replace it. And like, that's a very tough like plateau to break. And I mean, breaking even is a good start. At least a lot of businesses don't do that for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
breaking even is also probably a little bit of hyperbole, but I get enough people in here to get the bill paid.
It's good.
Uh,
All it takes is one of those people to be like, oh, hey, my friend, I saw her in a play and she's going to be your next client, and there's some kind of connection there. And then all of a
We
sudden,
were
like you said,
talking about that actually, about how in theater, when they say, oh, we're going to have a video of the performance for you guys, people record it and then we never get the video. And so Dylan was like, well, I mean, we'd get you the video, basically. So you know what?
Eric
In
and
the
I do
future,
stuff
he
like
may be
that.
recording some of those shows.
that would
Happy
be
to do it.
fantastic.
And I know a
Connections.
number of excellent cinematographers as well. So
Connections being made right here.
Exactly.
Yeah, the
It's all
state
happening.
is small enough where you could like get everyone together and just do something like that's.
I know. I feel like we could get the entire state of Rhode Island on one Zoom call. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
right.
Like, we could get everybody together. I mean, there'd be like 2 or 3 stragglers who like, don't know how to mute their mics or like, something's
Turn their
going
camera on.
Yeah, but like I
Mhm.
feel like we could get almost all of us, pretty much all together.
At least Providence.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah, for
I
sure.
need. Well, another thing that would be ideal for me and like solidify that I'm doing well in this studio environment. Like I need to start having open jams here. Like
Oh, yeah.
send out a mass invite to you guys and like 20 other people. See who
Yep.
responds, come on in, and let's just hit record.
There will
Yeah.
definitely be a market for that, especially because, so many venues that do open jam are closing, and people who love going there, they're not going to have a place to go. So,
Yeah, that would be awesome. And like I think back to sometimes like I used to work at music stores for years, both back in New Jersey where I grew up and then here. And like a lot of us would end up playing music together. And like after work, you get out of work at like at 9 o'clock at night, closing a retail store. And somebody's like, oh, hey, the jam's at my house. And we all go and hang out in some random dude that you work with's basement for like 3 hours and play music. But then like so many bands and projects came out of that are like, and some of them have had success and like people have met like, there was a guy I can think of that was starting a studio when I worked at a Sam Ash music store in New Jersey. And now he's done some incredibly well-known recordings and like he's met people who from those jam sessions became employees of the studio and producers, et cetera. So I feel like that would be really awesome to get people together, and it would be a good way to like kind of say, hey, this is what we can do and let's have some fun, and then call me if you want to record something, baby.
If all four of us were in the
Hell
same
yeah.
room right now, we would have started a jam already.
We certainly would have.
Probably true.
Exactly.
I would make Cass play drums just to see.
I'd play drums for you. Don't worry.
No, I would get on there just to show you I wasn't
Just to see.
lying.
Okay.
I've been like having a hankering to play drums lately because like that's what I learned when I was younger. Like I played drums in school and then I taught myself guitar later on and like that became my thing. But like I played drums on a few No Plateau songs that we would play live, and Christian, our regular drummer, played guitar on these songs and wrote them. And so when we played live, we would all switch places when we played these songs, and Sean would play bass, I would play drums, and then Christian and John would also play guitar and sing. And so I have been having like a hankering to play drums again lately. So if we have an open jam, I'm down to play some drums.
Hell yeah.
Let's
There we
go.
go.
Hell yeah.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
So
It's
yeah,
awesome.
that would be something, you know, that I'm working towards as like full-time freedom, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah. It's that freedom, that not having to be beholden to anybody, right?
yeah, I was trying to find ways to measure it, and that would be my best examples. That would be one of them, is not being beholden to anyone except for those that I choose to be.
Right.
Because you should be beholden to people, otherwise why do you exist?
Right.
Like, but I mean, obviously you exist to experience life, but you should look out for other people and want
Oh,
to
yeah.
do good by other people. I think that's a fundamental principle of being a human.
Couldn't agree more.
Hell yeah.
I want to be somebody that their opinion and knowledge and experience is considered more highly than, you know, when we were kids and no one listened to us, you know? Go back to that car sketch, you know, that was my dad. I'd call and be like, hey, how are you? Like, do you want to talk about like the trauma that you went through? He's like, is your car running well? And it's like, you know, I want to,
It's facilitating that connection, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And so that having your word and your, yeah, I guess that's probably the best description for us, is your word be valued highly.
Right.
That is important to me as a producer, to be like, no, I think this is the way we should do it. And someone goes, you know what? I think that we, you know, not to sound like cocky or I am right all the time, but I'm not right all the time. That's what I'm saying, is I'm working towards that, where I can be somebody with the experience to back up what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Where
And-
somebody can like defer to your expertise because
Yeah.
they know that you have it.
So
Yeah.
that's one measure of success. Exactly. And then not having to worry about, you know, I brought up being kicked out of our apartment. It was traumatizing and completely unwarranted.
Yeah.
I never want to have to worry about that again. I don't ever want to have to worry about my safety. I have memories from my childhood of worrying about my safety.
Yeah.
And if I can get myself to a place where I never have to worry about that, you know, no one is going to kick me out of my house. No one is going to deny me food today. If I can reach all those things, then I've succeeded. And hopefully I can do all that with this studio. Sorry to get super deep there.
No,
But
no,
you asked,
don't
like,
be
what's-
sorry.
what's
It-
success
That's what
would
we
mean.
do on this podcast.
Yeah, we do get deep, and like
Yeah.
we've talked about a lot of challenging topics. You know, we've had somebody on the show who, you know, volunteered answering the phone for like the suicide prevention hotline, and like talked about those kinds of conversations. And like,
Well,
to me, that's
yes.
like getting at the core of like what people really think about and care about, and like, you know, that's something deep enough to where like I know that that's what's really on your mind and like in your heart, you know, so to speak. Like,
Which episode
getting
is that?
deep enough to get that level of honesty from you is like so awesome, because like it's clearly like these things that we try to heal from our childhood is what we try and do as adults, and what becomes what's important to us. And I think there's a point to be made there about how, you know, we spend a lot of our time in our lives trying to mask it or put a Band-Aid on it. But when you realize this is what's really important for me to heal, well, this is what's important for me to focus on so I can heal this part of me and become who I really truly am, I think it's a beautiful thing when you finally have that realization. And that's when that determination and motivation and drive that Cass talked about really kicks into high gear, because you see it. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of see it laid out there and see a path to it, and there's nothing that's going to stop you from it.
It's also like really important to get deep at random moments, because if you can start talking about something difficult and talk about it without apologizing and just talk about it like any topic, like, you don't know who's listening to that. And that might make someone say, hey, maybe it is okay for me to talk to somebody about this. Maybe it is okay for me to get help. It's the only way to get rid of the stigma on most of these topics is to just fucking talk about it. I mean,
Yeah.
that Don't Give Up episode, it went from, so Cass, you suck at the drums, to, so Cass, you tried to kill yourself a few years back. How'd that go? And you just roll with it,
Yeah.
because people need to hear it, and it helps, like we were just talking about, you facilitate a connection.
That's fantastic connection there, Cass. And so to pivot right on that thing, I know it's getting close
Wait, real
to
quick,
8
real
o'clock
quick.
here.
What
Oh,
episode
yes.
was that with the 911, with the suicide hotline?
One of
excuse
the
me?
ones we talked about, that was a guest. It was our first guest, Sean McNicholas. And
Okay, I need to listen to that.
He's amazing. He was
Having called the
amazing.
suicide hotline more than 4 times in my life.
And if this guy was the operator that answered your first call, you probably wouldn't have called again. Like, this guy.
He's that good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's from the UK, and he had ADHD himself and went through a difficult life coming up and being born to parents who were drug addicts and things like that, and eventually turned his life into something that could help people who were there. And like, we're also talking like he would work with inmates in the prison system in the UK and be talking them through like, oh yeah, I'm going to be here in prison for the rest of my life. Please tell me why I should not kill myself. And like, having to be on the other side of that conversation is incredibly stressful to me when I think about it. Like, Jesus Christ. But yeah.
He's amazing.
Hey,
Yeah,
when
it's
you're in
very
need,
accurate.
there's always a Sean there for you. Am I
Yeah.
right?
We had so
Instead of
many
Sean Connery,
Seans.
So
Sean
many
in this
Seans.
Wow,
episode.
what a pivot!
That's fantastic. What I was going to pivot to is our game show, because I know,
Yeah.
so, Mario, I know that you need to get going around 8, and it's getting close to
Unfortunately,
quarter of.
yes.
Yeah,
So
we won't keep you too much longer. Sorry, bud.
I would love to get some trivia questions about Sean Connery in here to pivot directly from suicide to Sean Connery movie trivia.
Yes.
No, from Sean to Sean.
Yeah, that's
Sean
right.
to Sean.
Suicide to Sean to Sean. It's like 6
Suicide
degrees of
is
Sean Connery.
painless.
Now that's a podcast right there.
Yeah.
From Sean to Sean.
All right, let's start it up.
All
But
right, I'm going to
so-
share my screen.
Yeah, I will. I would love for you to do that.
So
So
can
to
you
give a
see
little
this?
background, our guests today, since they are the experts in all things Connery, we've asked them to come up with a quiz show, game show for Cass and I, because I've seen a handful of Connery movies, mostly Bond, and Cass has seen virtually none.
I
except
saw the
one
one
that he actually wasn't even
Indiana
in.
Jones. And it wasn't great, so
Oh, so it definitely wasn't the Connery one then.
It was not. It was not. So we're gonna see. We're gonna test our knowledge, and I think I'll let Cass take the first question, and we'll go from there. So let's see what we've got, gentlemen.
do
I'm
it.
gonna turn the reins of the show over to you. Don't run too far away with it.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Connery Quiz, the game show where we ask our friends if they know anything about the late, great Sir Sean Connery. I am one of your hosts, Mario Lima.
And I'm your other host, Dylan Titus. Mario Lima, how are you doing
Whoa.
today?
I'm doing quite good. How you doing today, Dylan?
I'm doing very well. I'm excited to quiz our 2 contestants today. Contestants, why don't you introduce yourselves?
I'm Cass, and I've always dreamed about being on a game show about Sean Connery. It's a dream come true. Hi,
I
Mom.
bet you have.
She is quite a good actress. Yes, she is. How about you, handsome young man? How about yourself?
My name's Tom Hanks, and I've got my hand caught in a pickle jar to throw it back to the Connery SNL. My
Turn
name is
for-
Aaron Frey, and I'm here to answer questions that I only maybe have a 17% chance of knowing the answer to.
All right.
Oh, well, this should be quite the barn burner. Shall we get to the first question?
Let's get to
We
the
shall.
first question.
All multiple choice questions, very easy.
Ah.
So there are 5 choices each. These are all movies, but there's a chance it could not be a real movie. So keep that in mind when answering these questions. You might get your mind blown today.
We're
All right.
basically going to present a synopsis or a description of a aspect of the film, and it's up to you to tell us which film, or is it even a film?
All right.
Might not be.
So let's hear it. Let's hear the first question.
Okay. Connery dresses up as Green Gene Simmons. Is it
Green Simmons, if you will.
exactly, or as we called him, Gene Simmons of the Forest? Is it Dragonheart, Sword of the Valiant, Time Lock, The Wind and the Lion, or not a real movie?
I want it to be a real movie so bad. So I'm gonna run with one of the actual movies. Fuck it. Why not The Wind and the Lion?
All right, Aaron?
I don't think it's a real movie, so I'm going to say not a real movie.
All right. What are we settling on?
Let's go with Cass's answer.
Yeah, and then Aaron, whatever you say for the next one, we'll run with.
Okay.
Well,
cool.
I mean, if you guys want to work together to come up with
all right.
that might be the best way. Work
So
together.
I'm
to come
not
up with
sure
an
that it's a real movie, but I wanted Cass to do the first answer, so I'm going to go with Cass and stick with my co-host. We'll just take a shot in the dark.
answer. Okay. I'm gonna leave that, and it will answer later.
All right.
All right. Sean Connery appears as a talking train. Is it Murder on the Orient Express, Thomas the Tank Engine, The First Great Train Robbery, Theodore Tugboat, or not real?
I could definitely see Connery having been in Thomas the Tank Engine.
Ah, yes, choo
Hi.
choo.
Choo, my friend.
Choo choo, yes.
My friend, I've got to tell you about a train.
Your mother knows about trains, Trebek.
We just got done talking about Murder on the Orient Express, so I doubt it's that one. So I am going to go ahead and guess Thomas the Tank Engine.
All righty. Click that in. All right. Mario, you want to read the next one?
Sure. Scroll down a little bit. There we go. All right. Connery helps remake a film he previously starred in, plays a video game, and kills a bad guy with assistance from his own pee. Is it A, You Only Live Twice, B, Never Say Never Again, C, Family Business, D, Thunderball, or E, not a real movie?
I think this is one of those instances of this is so wild. I don't think you would have just made this up.
That sounds true to me. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's definitely a real movie, and I have never seen any of these, so we're just gonna say.
Well, hold on.
you.
The first two are Bond movies, and I don't recall him ever playing a video game in a Bond movie. So I think that's going to narrow it down to Family Business or Thunderball.
I'm gonna say Family Business because
with
I'm
you on
thinking
that.
about Young Frankenstein again.
Let's go Family Business. Let's do it.
What made Young Frankenstein?
There's a song in the musical called "Join the Family Business."
Oh,
Yes.
Okay.
No?
Mario?
Next question. Okay. Connery plays a cowboy in the American Wild West. Is it the First Great Train Robbery, Shalako, On the Fiddle, Outland, or not a real movie?
I believe this is the First Great Train Robbery. I'm not 100% on that, but I'm probably closer to being sure about it than Cass is.
That sounds right, and honestly, that was what my gut was telling me too.
All right, let's go with the gut. We usually have good intuition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Connery forgets to turn off the suds-making carpet cleaner while he has sex and the room fills to comedic proportions with bubbles. Is it Darby O'Gill and the Little People, The Bowler and the Bunnet, A Fine Madness, Wrong is Right, or not a real movie?
That sounds, I don't know. I literally have no idea, but it sounds like I'm leaning towards it being a real movie.
I'm so tired that I read that wrong, and I thought he had sex with the carpet cleaner. And ouch. I am less interested now that I've read it accurately. But
But
yeah,
it
I
does
have.
sound pretty ridiculous. So I'm thinking A Fine Madness sounds like something that would have that in it.
I'll
So
run with that. I'll
I'm
run
gonna,
with
I'm
that.
gonna guess that one.
Okay. Mario?
All right. In this film, Connery climbs
Jones.
into a refrigerator to avoid a nuke. Diamonds Are Forever, The Rock, Indiana Jones, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, The
There you
Avengers
go.
are not a real movie.
Indiana Jones.
There we go. We're gonna run with that. Indiana Jones, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Okay.
I
have
know we
not-
got at least one right.
I have not seen that movie, so I'm relying on you here, Cass.
Oh, that's all I remember about that movie.
Connery plays football with Dumbledore, who crushes his hand to go on a date. Is it The Molly Maguires, Go, The Next Man, Playing by Heart, or not a real movie?
the only one of those that I recall being a Connery movie is Playing by Heart. And I think that this might be a real movie, because otherwise it'd be odd to include a random Dumbledore reference when I'm thinking he has probably acted with that actor before.
They seem like they would have.
So I'm going to go with Playing by Heart. We're going to guess.
I
Okay.
don't disagree.
Okay. Mario?
All right, speed round. This film includes love affair. Oh, sorry. This includes love affair set amidst beautiful yet treacherous mountains and incest. 5 Days, One Summer, Wrong is Right, The Offense, A Bridge Too Far, or Not Real.
Why didn't you put family business as an option for this one?
Oh, that
That
would have
would've
been good.
That would have been very funny.
I would have guessed that.
I think it sounds
Wrong is right, maybe.
that, or well, A Bridge Too Far also sounds like I'm going just based on like vibes. Like I'm going based on the vibe of the titles to the
Yup.
to the description. So
Yes.
I don't know.
I'm mad we didn't put family business as one.
Same.
All right, Cass, I'll defer to you on this one because I have no idea. Wrong is Right
Um,
also sounds like the right movie title for an incestuous love affair movie.
That's what I was thinking. So let's just put wrong is right down.
All right,
You
we'll
got
do
it.
that.
You got it.
Oh, thank God I didn't say Wrong is Right. It's my favorite movie.
Leslie Nielsen surprisingly isn't very funny here, but Connery is in this film that ends by somehow foreshadowing 9/11.
Oh,
Is it
my.
A Fine Madness, Wrong is Right, Family Business, A Good Man in Africa, or Not a Real Movie? I just want to say before you just decide your answer, we didn't say anything about the films not being repeated. We could have described the
Ah.
film twice.
Okay.
Okay, that's good to know.
Leslie Nielsen is generally very funny, but I can't.
The fact that Dylan thought to tell us that makes me think it was one we already guessed.
No,
Yeah.
just the fact that this one. So you said you chose Wrong is Right for the last one, and Wrong is Right is here, just
Oh.
because it's repeated. I just
So
wanted
it
to.
theoretically
So
doesn't
you
necessarily
didn't
mean
think
that's
you
the
couldn't
wrong
guess it
answer.
again.
I see.
Okay.
I see.
So that's
I
all.
think a fine madness.
Okay.
All right, I'll go with you on that one.
Mario.
Connery fights The Rock's grandfather in office, as in Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Is it the Anderson tapes? You only live twice, Wrong is Right, Just Cause, or Not Real?
Knowing what the movie is about, I'm going to go with the Anderson tapes. I think that's close. I think that might be it.
I'll vibe with that.
Okay. Sean Connery plays King Arthur. Is it Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Sword of the Valiant, First Knight, The Man That Would Be King, or Not a Real Movie?
I think it is The Man That Would Be King. But I'm not totally sure. So, Cass, I'm open to alternative suggestions.
I mean, that's as good a guess as any.
The First Knight also sounds like it could be King Arthur too, but
I mean, they all sound like they could. Well,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I
I
mean-
didn't mean to click
I
on
don't know.
that. Forgive me.
The Man Who Would Be King sounds a little too on the nose, so I'm going to go with First Knight. I think maybe I'm going to alter my answer. I'm changing
I'll
it.
run
Okay.
with you.
Okay.
I would not be surprised if we got 0 of these correct or 1 of them correct.
We definitely got Indiana Jones correct, if nothing else.
Mario.
Oh, this one's fun. Connery plays a cop in space. Time Bandits, Meteor, Zardoz, Outland, or Not a Real Movie?
I
Time
know it's
Bandit.
not- I know it's not Zardoz. Time Bandits, I'm not sure. I don't think that episode's out yet. Isn't that the last one you landed on most recently?
No, we haven't landed on it yet.
You were talking about how you want to land on that one.
Yes.
In the last episode. I
You
listened
guys
to.
spun the Presidio. That's
Oh,
our
we
next
did.
film. Yes.
Good.
I know about I think Time Bandits just got adapted into like a Taika Waititi show or something.
Yes, it did.
And I remember hearing about the plot, and
Didn't it
this
just get
would
canceled,
fit
too?
the plot.
There's a cop in space. Time Bandits sounds like they're running from Connery. I think maybe we could roll with Time Bandits.
All
How
right.
do you
Okay.
feel about that, Cass?
Yeah, let's run with it.
All right.
It could very well be wrong, but at least there was some logic there.
We thought
Okay.
about it.
Well, I
Yeah.
figured you guys would. That's why we picked the choices we did, so you could apply some logic to it. Aaron, your camera went out again, bud.
Thank you.
You got it.
That silly timing thing here. All
All
right.
right. The plot takes us through government buildings and campsites with distinct forms of transportation, while a Russian killer is hot on the tail of our hero, who knows the whole thing's a trap. Is it The Hunt for Red October, The Russia House, From Russia with Love, The Red Tent, or Not a Real Movie?
Russia or Red. My God, these titles are really.
I'm almost positive that this is From Russia with Love.
I believe him.
Yeah. Because I remember I actually listened to the From Russia with Love or some of the episode. I remember the beginning of it. It was a while back. My memory don't work so good. But yeah, I think I'm going with From Russia with Love.
Okay.
Good answer. Good answer.
Mario?
Sean Connery plays an inspiring man who meets the real life. Oh, I lost it. Wait, what happened? Okay, there we go. Sean Connery plays an inspiring man who meets the real life future wife of his best friend while traveling in a foreign country with said friend. The Man Who Would Be King, The Next Man, Medicine Man, A Good Man in Africa, Not a Real Movie, man.
I'm going to say A Good Man in Africa.
I was kind of leaning towards that too, just based off sheer intuition. So let's stick with that.
Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent.
The Daily Show host rescues Agent Scully from a falling bookshelf while Connery deals with cancer. Is it Medicine Man, Playing by Heart, Memories of Me, The Name of the Rose, or Not a Real Movie?
Oh my God. Like, what did I just say about my memory not working so good? You gave me this question as a preview when I was in the studio recording
That's
Highlander 2
right.
with Sean,
Yes.
and I totally forgot the fucking answer. I almost want to say it was Memories of Me, but I'm probably wrong. But that's my best guess at this point, unless, Cass, you have a better one.
Nope, I'm going with that.
All right, let's do it.
Memories of Me?
Yep.
Mario?
Connery, as James Bond, enters a high-stakes poker game to defeat a private banker funding terrorists. The Dr. No, Goldfinger, Diamonds Are Forever, Never Say Never Again, or Not a Real Movie.
I want you to know that as somebody who's never watched any James Bond movies, this actually sounds like what I imagine the plot to every James Bond movie is.
It basically is.
Okay, so that doesn't help. It could be any of them.
I'm thinking that this is Goldfinger. I haven't seen a lot of the Connery Bond movies since I was a kid, so I'm just going based off pure instinct. I'm going to say Goldfinger.
Cass?
Hey, like I said, they all sound as likely as the others, so I'll run with Goldfinger.
Okay. A woman bonds
Ha.
with the widow of the man she was having an affair with. Is it Another Time, Another Place, Woman of Straw, Memories of Me, You Only Live Twice, or Not a Real Movie?
The only one that I can confirm is a Bond movie is You Only Live Twice. So with Bond being in italics, I think that's my guess.
Or they were just happy to make a joke and wanted to emphasize their little pun.
That also really tracks because these two would do that.
The way they giggled makes me think that maybe.
So I don't know.
I'm
it's a toss-up.
giggling at I'm giggling at you thinking I would do something nefarious. Not me. You never.
Yes.
You don't say.
Let's all talk like Bond villains now. Lovely.
All right, so then it's either You Only Live Twice or it's not real. So I'm like 50-50 toss-up. So Cass, I'm going to throw it to you and see if you have an opinion.
I'm going to go with not real for two reasons. One, we haven't used it yet. And two, how many movies has Connery been in that have like actual women leads doing things? So I'm going to say not real.
I think a good amount, but yeah, I'm with you. Let's do not real.
Okay. Mario?
Connery kisses a James Bond villain right on the mouth before solving a murder. The offense, The Next Man, Diamonds Are Forever, The Name of the Rose, or Not a Real Movie.
And you only have no idea. Jeez.
I want it to be every James Bond movie. I would love that.
I will then, if that's the case, then let's go with Diamonds Are Forever because I know it's a Bond movie.
Is that your choice?
Let's yeah, we'll go with it.
You will do
Diamonds.
Connery plays a man who undergoes a procedure to become Asian in order to get married.
What the fuck?
I should have also put "get married" in quotations.
Yeah, okay, I was just gonna say
To
the only
get
thing more confusing about that
You should have
description
put
was
Connery in quotes too.
the random quotation marks.
Connery
makes me think of,
plays a man who undergoes.
Becoming
This
Asian in itself
Tractor
is
beam.
quite a
Tractor
phrase, and then
beam.
you throw it in quotation marks, and I'm very confused and intrigued.
Is it
Now I'm thinking
Rising
that it's-
Sun? You
that-
only
that
live
it's-
twice. Another time, another place. A Fine Madness, or Not a Real Movie.
Now
I'm gonna say
thinking-
Rising Sun.
I'm thinking back to Juan Sanchez Villalobos Ramirez having received a beautiful Japanese sword from the father of his wife at some point in Highlander history, based on our previous thing. So I don't know. I don't know that this is. It's too ridiculous to not even be a real movie. So I'm just gonna go with the most Asian-sounding title, which I think is what Cass did, is Rising Sun.
Yep.
My
Brilliant.
cat, her ears just perked up because she's Siamese, and we're always calling her Asian. Come here, little Asian. And so when
This
she
is
heard
the
me
episode
saying
where
it,
we
her
get
ears popped
canceled,
up.
guys.
Yeah,
There it
We're
is.
gonna get canceled.
Mario, the next question that will get you guys canceled.
Oh boy.
Oh, it vanished for me.
Oh
there
boy.
it is. Oh, I got it. Now, Sean plays an Arab man who rides a black stallion, takes hostages, and respects Teddy Roosevelt. Is it Shalico? Is it Ransom, aka the terrorists? The Wind and the Lion, The Next Man, or Not a Real Movie?
No,
I'm gonna
Lord.
go with Ransom because it has the most problematic title,
Okay, yeah, let's
and
do
that
it.
was the era that he was most popular in.
I support you on that one. Let's go with Ransom.
Okay. Okay, that's it. That was the last question.
All right,
All
so
right.
Let's
Shall we?
break the
let's
quiz.
submit the score. What do we have?
The score. 3 out of 20, guys.
Eh.
So that's a 15. You guys got a 15. All right, so let's go through these answers. Connery
I
dresses up
can't
as
see it.
green.
It froze on mine.
Oh yeah, it's frozen for me as well.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Hey, 3 is more than I thought we'd get.
You guys
so-
you got some good brain power there. I like the way you guys were thinking about it.
Can you see it now?
Yep.
Yes.
Cool.
So Green G. Simmons.
Is wait, what?
Let's-
Oh, okay.
Sword of
okay,
the
sure,
Valiant?
Okay. No, yes, it is Sword of the Valiant. Took me a second to realize.
I'm
how
so
it was
happy
written.
that's
it.
a real one.
I'm-
That is a real one.
yeah, if you guys have chat open, I'm gonna try to like post the pictures that correspond
Oh,
with
yeah.
each answer. Well,
Oh,
that,
yes.
Oh,
That's
beautiful.
great.
Yes, yes. So, yes, Connery dresses up as Green Gene Simmons as the Green Knight in Sword of the Valiant, which was our first
Wow.
commentary track and one of our favorite films. It's not a good film, but it is.
It's not great, but it's amazing.
Yes, exactly.
but-
Thank you.
yeah,
It's not great, but
Like
it's
The
amazing.
Room.
just for fun, here's an image of him in that movie. It's in a link there, but should take you to the picture.
Perfect. Oh, that's something.
I'm
He
keeping all
is-
these links open so I can post
Boom,
them on
let's
an
share
actual
that.
video.
Yeah,
too.
there he is.
Can you guys
That's
see
great.
that?
Yeah, I already
Okay,
see it.
I'm,
cool.
I'm
Oh.
gonna edit them in, so just keep sending the links, and then I'll edit them in so they take up.
Okay.
The
All
space.
right, I got your back.
Yeah. So, all right. Next question. Sean Connery appears as a talking train. You said Thomas Tank Engine. Correct answer. Not real.
Not real. Didn't happen. Didn't
All
happen.
right.
Mario, you want to read the next one?
Go down. Connery helps remake a film he previously starred in, plays a video game, yada, yada. That was indeed Never Say Never Again, which is not officially a Bond movie, but he came back and played James Bond.
It is
one
a
more time.
remake of the film Thunderball.
Oh.
Wow.
Yes. And when I say helps remake it, he also produced the film.
Wow.
And funny and fun fact, he
Yep.
was shooting that at the same time as Sword of the Valiant. So he was taking that Gene Simmons suit off and going to go shoot James Bond. Like on the same day, he was like Marty McFly in between like Back to the Future and what was the show?
Family Ties.
Jay Fox
Oh,
was
yeah,
on.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Imagine like
business.
you have that whole Bond movie, and then like one scene, there's a continuity error where he's wearing the green suit, and then
We
it
made that.
immediately goes back.
He's wearing. We made
oops,
that
wrong
joke.
suit.
I gotta go see a man about a shoot.
Fuck it, I'm tired. Let's just film the scene. All right. Connery plays a cowboy in the American Wild West. You guys said the first great train robbery. The answer is Shalako.
Oh,
Mario?
Yeah.
Oh, my
You
Yes,
got the five. Yeah,
you
if Connery
did.
forgets to turn off suds, making carpet cleaner while he has sex in a room full of comedic proportions with bubbles, that is indeed a fine madness.
and
Also
I picked that
directed-
purely on vibes.
Yep.
Also directed by Irvin Kershner, who directed Never Say Never Again.
Ah, look at that. The connections. You guys, again, encyclopedic knowledge of this stuff.
See how you did on the next
massively
one.
impressive. Oh, that's good movie poster.
In this film, Connery climbs into a refrigerator to avoid a nuke.
The fuck out of here.
So you were right. It is Indiana Jones and the
no
Crystal
Indiana
Skull,
Jones.
but he's not in that film.
He's actually not in that one.
He makes an appearance in that film as a photograph.
Yes.
And I knew that he was not actually in the film, but I let Cass run with the answer because she felt
You
so confident about it.
Absolute piece
Felt
of
so
shit.
good.
You just
Yeah.
let
I'll
that
let you.
happen.
I'll give you the point back, Cass, if you can tell me who is in the fridge.
Shia
What?
LaBeouf, isn't it?
No. Well, I'll give you one more guess.
Who's the movie about?
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, there it is. Sure.
All I could remember about that movie is the fridge. Sean Connery popped up, and actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf was in quite a bit.
If you want to watch an actually good Indiana Jones movie, watch Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
That
that is
is
the
the
one.
one
I
that
have
Connery
seen
appears in.
every Indiana Jones movie.
Oh, okay.
That's the
I
one
just
with
this was
Connery.
not one I rewatched after
Oh,
seeing
yeah.
it the
Well,
first
'cause
time.
It sucked.
Yeah, that's
It's got its merit.
Yeah,
It has-
it's got its moments.
qualities.
Mario, you can set this one up perfectly.
All right. Oh, yes. Connery plays football with Dumbledore, who crushes his hand to go on a date. The answer was
You guys chose Playing by Heart.
Playing by Heart. You guys got it is the Molly Maguires. It's the original Richard Harris, the original Dumbledore, who played Dumbledore in the first two Harry Potter films, does make an appearance as a co-star here in the Molly Maguires, and they were good pals, which is really cool to see, and like it's
Very cool.
awesome to see young Dumbledore. He's a
They are the
stud.
two leads in the movie playing miners, like coal miners.
Yeah, not those
Um,
kind of minors.
Yeah.
And because the working conditions are so brutal, in order to get a day off work, Richard Harris has to crush his hand.
Wow.
And there's a
Yeah.
great. Yeah, I'll give you guys an image. So you guys can just look
Yes,
at it
yes,
as,
perfect.
as
Thank
you
you
talk.
for doing this, Mario.
Yeah, you got to see how these guys are hunks.
Fantastic.
All right. So our next question. This film includes a love affair set amidst beautiful yet treacherous mountains and incest. You guys chose wrong as right, which is a
This is
decent guess
hilarious.
for sure. The answer is 5 Days, One Summer. This is a real
Oh.
film where Connery plays a man having an incestuous relationship with his niece, and they go on a trip to the Alps.
I thought
Hate
that was House of
everything
the
about
Dragon.
that.
You know the strangest thing? It's not a terrible movie.
That's funny.
It's like a decent plot, and like cinematography is gorgeous. So there's things to like about the movie.
I can't judge. I like Game of Thrones. So.
Yeah, your description
yeah.
of it reminded me of House of the Dragon with Matt Smith, the incestuous relationship with his niece, all that good stuff.
Oh, geez. Mario?
All right, Leslie Nielsen surprisingly isn't very funny here, but Connery is in this film that ends by somehow foreshadowing 9/11. You guys guessed a fine madness, but the correct answer was indeed wrong is right. There is your wrong is right, which we did
See,
we just
there
did a
we go.
commentary track for,
Yeah,
by the way.
indeed.
It is one of my favorite movies, but it would have been weird in that context when we were
Right.
talking about this question. Like, wait a minute, Mario likes some weird movies. Boys.
And it ends with a bomb on top of the World Trade Center towers.
Oh,
Look at that.
fuck.
Crazy,
That is foreshadowing.
insane.
Connery fights The Rock's grandfather in an office. You chose the Anderson tapes. The correct answer is You Only Live Twice. The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson's grandfather plays a heavyweight henchman that has a fight with Connery in an office, and Connery uses a couch as a weapon. It's awesome.
It's awesome.
Mario?
Okay. Sean Connery plays King Arthur. You guys chose First Night, and
Yes.
you were correct.
We're amazing.
We got
Yes,
it.
He
That's
plays
what I'm
an
talking
aging
about.
King Arthur. and it's very good.
It's a very good movie.
Connery plays a cop in space. You chose Time Bandits. The
Damn.
correct answer was
Damn.
Outland.
Oh,
It's
that
Damn.
works.
It's he's pursuing drug dealers in space. It's great.
It's crazy.
Mario,
It's
we don't have to read the whole thing.
Plot takes through government buildings, campsites, distinct forced transportation, Russian
Russia
killer,
with
blah,
love.
blah. You guys got it right. It's from Russia with love.
What
Super
gave it away was
straightforward.
the essentially the fact that he was the Russian killer was hot on the tail of the hero who knows the whole thing's a trap. And when I was listening to the From Russia with Love episode of your podcast, you were talking about how in the book they just lay out the entire thing in the beginning and they go into
Yep.
it knowing that it's a trap, but they do it anyways.
Sean Connery plays an inspiring man who meets the real-life future wife of his best friend while traveling in a foreign country with said friend. You said A Good Man in Africa. The correct answer is our first film that we ever watched, The Man Who Would Be King. He and Michael
Damn.
Caine are best friends in real life. And
Michael
are-
Caine.
Yep, they act in this film together, and they meet Michael Caine's future wife, Shakira. Mario?
Daily Show host rescues Agent Scully from her falling bookshelf while Connery deals with cancer. You guys guessed Memories of Me. The correct answer is Playing by Heart. Yes, indeed, Jon Stewart in the first and only romantic comedy that Sean Connery was in.
Look at that.
Connery as James Bond enters a high-stakes poker game to defeat a private banker funding terrorists. You said Goldfinger. The answer is not a real movie. It is a real movie. It's Casino Royale, starring
Oh, but
Daniel
Connery was
Craig
not in
as
it, yes.
James
I
Bond.
was gonna say, it does
Wrong
sound like a
button.
Bond movie.
You tricky bitches.
Exactly. All right, Mario.
All right, a woman bonds with the widow of the man she was having an affair with. You guys guessed. It's delayed for me. Not a real
said it wasn't
movie.
real.
It is Another Time, Another Place.
Indeed.
So is that actually a Bond movie?
no?
It's
it
just
is
a
not.
movie, right?
It is. a
All
film
right. So
before-
all right.
Before he was cast as Bond, he plays a war correspondent in World War II
Wow.
who is having an affair, and then, yeah, stuff happens. Connery
Stuff
kisses a
happens.
James Bond villain right on the mouth before solving a murder. You guys said Diamonds Are Forever. It's The Name of the Rose. It takes place at a monk's abbey.
Oh.
A murder has happened, and all
Never
the
heard of
men
it.
greet each other with big old kisses on the lips.
Oh,
This
I
is
love
not a
that.
James Bond film, but the other monk is played by an actor who plays a James Bond villain in a Roger Moore Bond film.
Sounds very gay, which is very awesome.
Indeed.
I was gonna say that just sounds like P-Town.
Mario?
Connery plays a man who undergoes a procedure to become Asian in order to get married. You said Rising Sun. The correct answer is You Only Live Twice.
Okay, what the fuck's with the quotation marks?
Asked Dylan. He
It's a
wrote that
Ja-
question.
It's a James Bond film, and the procedure when you see it, it is laughable. It is not a procedure of any type. It is
Okay.
literally
That's
they're
great.
putting like prosthetics on him.
Oh,
And when he becomes Asian, it is laughable. So
Fantastic.
Sean plays an Arab man who rides a black stallion, takes hostages, and respects Teddy Roosevelt. You said Ransom, aka the terrorist, which is a good choice, but that's not it. It is The Wind and the Lion.
I never would have
Oh.
guessed.
Plays a real life character that in real life events that happened. So, and that was it. So you guys got 3 out of
All right.
20.
You guys did good. This
I
was
love
fun.
it.
1.5%. There we go. That's about how
Yeah.
good I usually do. But this was so much fun, guys. Thank you so
Indeed.
much for being here and for taking the time. And I know we're taking a lot of your time up now, Mario.
Yeah,
You got
let
some
Mario
obligations.
No
promote his
worries.
stuff first.
What we'll do is Mario, run down the list. Let us know what you want to plug. Don't feel the need to give websites because I'll put all the links in the description.
You guys can find me, of course, at Connery Curious. Find us Connery Curious podcast. You can find me at the Wrestling's Real podcast as well, also on YouTube, and also Friggin' Nerds Media on Twitch, YouTube, and all that good stuff. Doing all the nerdy content you guys love, and this is a blast. I had so much fun hanging out with you guys. This is so much fun, and we got to jam soon. Let's jam and
Indeed.
Definitely.
hell yeah.
do a play together or something.
Let's do it.
Hell
Everybody,
yeah.
let's give it up for Mario so we can get going. Thank you so
Thanks,
much, Mario.
guys.
Thank you very much. All right, you are excused, good
So
sir.
I could-
Thank
I
you
could leave- I
again
could just
very,
leave the
very much.
session?
Yep, feel
Bye,
free.
bud.
I love you
Bye.
all.
Thank you. Love you.
Love you, bud.
If only we were in person, then we could too kiss each other on the mouth to greet each other. But
Indeed.
But then we have to solve a murder.
I think I could roll with that. I'm in a
Yeah.
murder solving mood.
That's the film we had Chris Hansen on for. Chris and his wife Tara. They came on for that
Ah.
film.
Very good. It sounds like we got some movies to watch. Speaking of which, Dylan, let's tell all of our listeners and watchers where they can find you, my friend.
That, like Mario said, you can find us on Connery Curious, which is on a little bit of a break right now, just for work stuff and the stress of the world.
Plenty of back catalog, though. Please go listen to it. It's
63
fantastic.
episodes in the back catalog. We got some commentaries. We've got a Patreon where you can find those commentaries. We got bonus episodes. We've got video game play-alongs where we play From Russia with Love, the video game, and we play a Pokemon game where we just start naming every character after Connery
I love it.
characters.
I love that.
So yeah, you can find us there. You can find me at Titus Compositions. Just search for that, Titus Compositions, link tr.ee/Titus Compositions. You know the shit.
Link in the
Linktree.
description.
Yeah, all that stuff. You can find my music there, as well as links to music that I've produced for other people. And you can also find a lot of that same stuff through the link tree of The Proving Ground, which is my studio here in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. The Proving Ground studio with room to grow. We've got a big old space to record bands and come
It's
on
an
in.
excellent space. I was
Yeah.
down there, and it was so much fun to be there. It's a really cool room, really cool building. And though I didn't hear music happening at the time, I could just tell from being in the room and seeing that it's an awesome room. And I bet you that you guys get really good quality stuff in there because the acoustics of that room are fucking very solid, I think.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, we've gotten some good sounds in here. I've got
Absolutely.
a couple of a handful of bands that I've recorded in here now, and it's some good sounds.
Very
so
cool.
if you would like to work with me, I don't know how to hype myself up. Come on and record in a castle.
if I were Dylan, I would say,
Okay, Dylan.
I just want to, hi, I'm Dylan Titus, and I wanted to welcome everybody to come on down to The Proving Ground, a studio with room to grow, where myself and my partner Eric will help you sound your best and help bring out the magic that we know is inside of you and your music. I will help you turn your dream into reality, and you in turn will help me turn my dream of helping other people realize their full musical potential into a reality. I've been Dylan Titus.
God damn, son.
He's
That
been
was
in the corporate
phenomenal.
world for quite some time. That's what happens.
Corporate,
That
and then
was phenomenal.
I've spent the last almost 2 years trying to figure out how to do marketing for myself online. So that just kind of translates now.
Well, that was
But-
awesome. Thank you so much for that.
Of course.
You hyped
You can
me up
use
in a
that for
way
your
that I
commercial.
couldn't do- I will. Thank you so much.
It's a glowing testimonial by somebody pretending to be you. And I think that will really.
Well, you did it in the last
reach
episode you were
viewers.
on.
I did,
Yeah.
didn't I?
It's a
Yeah.
running
I
theme.
did pretend to be you. Yeah.
Oh, well, no,
So
you
yeah,
pretended
look
to
at
be
that.
Mario.
Oh,
but-
I guess I did. I guess
yeah.
I pretended to be more. But I mean, interchangeable
thing.
podcast
Yeah.
hosts, essentially.
Yeah, we're the same person.
Yeah, basically.
So actually,
you guys
this-
look alike.
The first episode we did here in the Proving Ground, we both wore red and black flannels, checkerboard flannels like this, without realizing it. Like, we hadn't coordinated it. He just showed up wearing this, and
That's
I was wearing
fantastic.
this.
I
And that
love
was the
it.
first episode that we
Meant
did
to
here.
It
be.
was meant to be. You guys
Exactly.
are on the same page.
Yeah.
Well, again, everybody, please do check out the links in the description for both Mario and Dylan. We've got
Come produce a track.
podcasts. We've got studio
Mhm.
work. We've got all kinds of wonderful, delicious things for you to check out in our very first bonus episode, double-length episode, which will be released to the general public as a special. Thank you again very much, Dylan Titus, for being here.
Oh,
I'm
thank
Aaron.
You guys.
I'm Cass.
I'm
and
Dylan.
this has been Fuck the Plan. Well, let's try that again. I want to do a little clean.
Sorry.
Aaron, Cass, Dylan, all right? I'm
Sorry.
Aaron.
I'm Cass.
I'm Dylan.
And now that I'm done talking over everybody, this has been Fuck the Plan. Have a great one, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Fuck the Plan, a curious crossover featuring Dylan Titus and Mario Lima of Connery Curious. Please check out their show and other projects through the links in the description. This has been our very first double-length bonus episode. We really enjoyed bringing a more laid-back, funnier element to the episode, and if you enjoyed hearing it, I have good news for you. We're releasing 4 more bonus episodes throughout the coming year that will be exclusive to our Patreon members. So if you haven't joined yet, what are you waiting for? P.S. If you'd like to be on the show, we're always looking for guests to share their stories of how they said fuck the plan and started focusing on creating a life that matters to them. If that sounds like you, please email stories@fucktheplan.com and tell us yours.